Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORIONNWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the number 25 Memphis Tigers versus the West Virginia Mountaineers in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. We are going bowling. Bowl season starts here tonight. We get the college football playoff on Friday, but to get the bowl season started off, we got a good matchup with Memphis and West Virginia, but right now we're waiting for the Jumpman Invitational to get finished. Number 7 Florida is up 87-84 on North Carolina for college hoops. So let's get settled in, take a look at the thumb, as well as cue the music, and we will get into some college football kickoff here in about 4 minutes. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb, as you can see, we got a couple quarterbacks there for West Virginia. Garrett Green on the left and on the right, playing his last game for the Memphis Tigers, leading a lot of statistical categories, Seth Hennigan. I can't wait. Let's get it, baby. Sarah in the building, what's good? STL in the building, what's good? Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, hour and a half. 30 to 50 if we get volume, and then obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Another free throw made by the Gators, and they got a 4-point lead on North Carolina, so obviously this one is getting wrapped up, and kickoff is going to be right after this one wraps up, roughly in about 3 minutes. Let's go, baby. This thumbnail took me a little bit longer than expected to kind of get everything finished, because I don't have anything just waiting in the wings for West Virginia or Memphis. So this one took a little bit longer than expected, but I think it turned out pretty well with both of the quarterbacks. And I'm definitely ready for the matchup here tonight to get bowling and to get the bowl season started. I really feel that college football this season has been better than the NFL, besides the occasional amazing matchup like the Detroit Lions versus the Buffalo Bills this past weekend. But I feel that even lower name teams in college have been a little bit more entertaining than a lot of the NFL games. And I'm not sure if this is a trend that we are going to see with the college football playoff, but I kind of have a feeling that with the NFL and everything surrounding the referees and just the type of style of play that we've been getting, that maybe the transition from a lot of those NFL fans giving college football a look, or maybe transitioning a little bit more to college football than the NFL. And as all of us are in the room, we love the NFL, but again, the product that we see on TV, it feels like it really hasn't been as good as years past. I mean, some games are living up to the billing, but there's been a lot of kind of underwhelming games in the NFL. I mean, if you check in on Thursday night football, Sunday night, Monday night, we know we're in for some duds here and there. But I've actually enjoyed college football this year, even in the matchups where you get one ranked team versus an unranked team. Those can be a little tricky, and they can end up in a lot of blowouts. But just the camaraderie, the cheerleaders, the band, just the overall vibe that you get from the fans that are babies all the way to grandma and grandpas and everything in between. I feel like college football has been more entertaining for me. I've enjoyed it a little bit more. And again, we're getting bowling right now, and this is really the only bowl game that we got. So Capital One Bowl Mania, let's get it going. And then we got tomorrow, California versus UNLV. Then we get into Thursday night football, where we'll transition into the Broncos and the Chargers. And then the ones that I'm really waiting for on Friday and Saturday night, the college football playoff, where we're going to start it off with Indiana and Notre Dame on Friday. Can't wait. And then on Saturday, there'll be 3 games, but we're going to do the late game, Tennessee and Ohio State. So these next few days are going to be pretty much all college football besides Thursday. I can't wait to see what we get here tonight to start off the bowl season. And I'm excited. Let's get it, baby. STL in the building, Sarah in the building. Let's go. Cole in the building. Let's get it, baby. Let me get all my screens adjusted here. All right, got all my screens set up. Hennigan versus Green. And again, Hennigan is one of the statistical leaders for Memphis. 23 touchdowns and 6 picks. So this is not a slouch. On the other end, Green is a little bit more inconsistent. He's got 13 tutties and 11 picks. So you would assume number 25 Memphis is going to get the win, but you never know. And sometimes in these bowl games, the team with the worst record sometimes comes out on top. And again, hopefully we end up getting a good competitive matchup here tonight. I love that. You know what's really awesome? I ended up messaging Brett last night, but on Fox Sports 1, NASCAR does like greatest races, and they ended up doing Charlotte from like 2005 on the old Fox broadcast. And I feel like Fox was undefeated with their broadcast with NASCAR back in the day, but it had Jimmy, it had Jeff, it had Dale Jr., and a lot of guys that aren't obviously racing today. I really enjoyed it. And hopefully they'll have a few more of those greatest races specials on FS1 to kind of hold me over until we get into February, until we get into NASCAR regular season. Let's go, baby. Pizzle in the building. What's good? I'm ready, baby. Let's go. Number 25 Memphis Tigers versus the West Virginia Mountaineers. We'll do a lot of college football, and I feel, like I said, it's been a little bit more entertaining than the NFL. Besides the, couple, big matchups like we ended up having with the Bills and the Lions. But prayers up to the Lions and their roster, because with all of those injuries, I think they had like 16 or 17 guys on defense on injured reserve. At some point, that's going to come back and catch up to them, and also losing David Montgomery. So they just better pray that the Eagles get knocked off before they play them. Otherwise, we might be seeing a Philadelphia Eagle Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl or a Philadelphia Eagle Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. And I think that's the one that I would rather have if we're going to have Super Bowls. Now, if the Lions had less injuries, yeah, I would love to be able to see them, in the Super Bowl, and they might still be able to get past Philly if possible. Next man up mentality, but I've never seen a defense this injury riddled make it, not only to an NFC or AFC championship game, but let alone the Super Bowl and win it. So maybe they can get to the Super Bowl, but I don't think you're going to be able to win it with all those injuries. So, I want to be able to have the healthiest teams there. It kind of is shitty for Detroit, but if they do make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to earn it. But it kind of feels like we're transitioning to a Eagles-Bills or Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl, but I won't count Detroit out just yet. Yeah, Daytona 500 into February. I can't wait for that. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And this will be a good opportunity to hang out with your boy with some college football, because there's not going to be really a whole lot of people, doing the games as much as me. So get settled in, get your popcorn, get your beer, get your snacks, and here we go. All right, West Virginia going to get the ball first here. Garrett Green. Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl in Frisco, Texas, baby. Pat McAfee is watching. And again, even if you're not a fan of either of these two teams, even if you've never even watched either of these two teams play this season, who cares? It's bowl season. It's the Frisco Bowl. We're getting into the part of the season that really matters the most. Handoff up the middle. Short game. Plus, if you are into the NFL, fumble. He cocked it up. Uh-oh. Wow. First snap right out of the gates. Did they recover? Wow, looks like they recovered. They got lucky. But, if you are a fan of NFL or the NFL draft, I love college bowl season as well, because it gives you an opportunity to scout some of these players that you may have never heard of, or maybe you just read an article about, or maybe heard of the name but never seen these guys play. And that's why I'm going to try to do as many bowl games as possible, not just the college football playoff, but also just regular bowl games. 2nd down and 9 after that fumble recovery. Little toss. Bouncing it to the outside with a little bit of a spin move there. 2.5 yards there on that game. 3rd down. Donaldson Jr. run for a 1 to the West Virginia 26, fumbled on that previous play. 3rd down and 6. I mean, I would love for the Lions to be able to make it, but I just don't know if you're going to be able to win it all, with all those injuries. Pass towards the sideline, incomplete. Good defense there by the Memphis Tigers. Get batted away. I think it's possible, that they could end up representing the NFC, but again, you got to think if they were able to beat Philly, what kind of game is Detroit playing? Like some of those defensive players are going to have to, play well, because I just don't really see any scenario in my head of them beating them, because obviously not only are the Eagles healthier on defense, they're better. They have an overall better defense, better defensive coordinator, in Vic Fangio, and obviously, there's no easy way to be able to get to a Super Bowl, but I would love for the Lions to get there, but I don't think they will. No David Montgomery, 16 or 17 injuries on the defense alone, out for the year. I wish them the best of luck, but if they did make the Super Bowl, I mean, what are the chances of them actually winning it? Like if they somehow, by a miracle, get past the Eagles, or the Eagles get knocked off by a lower team and they end up getting an easier path and they make it, I just don't see them beating, even though I know a lot of the people are annoyed by the Chiefs, but I just don't see them beating a healthy Chiefs or a healthy Buffalo Bills, even though the Bills defense really isn't that good. They're going to use the same scenario as the Lions, just try to outscore you. And then obviously, as we know, the Chiefs and the Eagles are more well-balanced and they have better defenses. Defense wins games, defense wins championships. So I just don't think it's Detroit's year. We got multiple penalties here? Penalties on both teams. Illegal formation. Penalty decline. Holding on the defense. First down. But I love the camaraderie of bowl season. I like regular season college football a lot, but when we get into bowl season and now we have the college football playoff, I feel that there definitely are going to be a lot more eyeballs on college football, and it should be. We know the NBA is like unwatchable, unless you're an NHL fan or a college hoops fan. There really isn't a whole lot going on. It's really like WWE with wrestling, and they're pushing that product very well. And then we got college football. So we want to make sure we're soaking this in because before you know it, it's going to be over. Same thing with the NFL. And then we'll have a little bit of a transition, obviously as we go into the new year, 2025. And baseball will start in April. But prior to that, there'll be like about a month of, what do we do? And then we'll have to kind of decide what's best for, not only myself, but for you guys on the channel. Punt for 44 yards by Oliver Straw. We'll see what Memphis can do on this drive. Yeah, Indiana Notre Dame is going to be really exciting. I mean, I really think every college football playoff matchup is exciting. Like it feels, like a quote unquote playoff game, but it feels like more because there's just so much on the line. And it's the first time that we have felt ever, right, in college football that it's not just 4 teams that are going to have a chance to win it all. And that's it out of 100, different Division I college schools. Normally it's like Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State. And if you're not those teams, you're fucked. Now, anyone can come out at champ. I mean, it's possible. And I think that gives hope, to not only the fans, but the players and the coaches as well. Handoff. Mario Anderson is a stud. STL with a 5er. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Go Ducks. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Let me know what you want to do for a couple photos, and I got you. And hopefully we'll get a few more people to be able to show some support as well. Freaking down to 9. Watch out for that Mario Anderson Jr. at running back for Memphis. Scrambling, gambling. Little check down. Mario Anderson, short gain. 3rd down. He is a big bruiser back. Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're at 5:95 to go. 3rd down and 6. And Seth Hennigan, he's got a little bit of a skill set. He's definitely better than the quarterback on the other side, Green, for West Virginia. So if he ends up slinging it, don't be surprised if we get some pretty spectacular passing and running touchdowns by Hennigan and Anderson. Shotgun set. Hennigan, good protection. He's got an arm on him. 1st down, Tigers. Move the chains. I got you. Good vision there by Seth Hennigan. Move the chains. Falcons bench Cousins, start Penix Jr. They should have already done that, but now Atlanta will be interesting to see if they can catch up to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can't wait to see him out there, and he's actually getting a chance to play. Very cool. A little flea flicker. Hennigan, the Tigers are getting crazy, but they play it smart, and Seth ain't a dummy, and he runs out of bounds instead of taking the sack lunch or throwing a pick six. Yeah, even if it ends up not being like the biggest names in these live streams, I'm going to do as many as I can because I would rather do college football bowl games or the college football playoff really than anything else besides the NFL right now. So we'll be pumping out a lot of college football and a lot of NFL. Shotgun set for Hennigan. 2nd down and 7. Pressure coming. Little screen pass. Anderson is there, but a nice tackle for loss by West Virginia. 3rd down. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help your boy out. Try to get to 20 within that 1st hour. 3rd down and long. 3rd down and 9 for the Memphis Tigers and Seth Hennigan. I like doing these games as well because it educates me, not only, as a streamer, but as a fan. So that way I'm more up to date with the college football rosters, even the lower name schools. Little crossing route. Short of the 1st down marker. Anderson Jr. with the catch. And now it's 4th down, and I would assume that Memphis will punt. But, the college football playoff has got great timing because, we already saw, how the NFL and the games were being played last year. And this year has been a little bit crazier NFL-wise. And it's just nice to be able to have a product get better, not get worse like the NBA. We should have been doing this college football playoff years ago. More bowl games, more money. They're greedy as fuck, right? So why didn't we do this earlier? But, finally they got it right, and they'll expand it from 12 to 16 at one point as well. But we're in bowl season, baby. Another punt. All right, here we go. Let's try to get some honey badger photos here. Tyrann Mathieu from LSU. He had an amazing college career, to say the least. And his NFL career has been pretty good as well. Obviously now a little bit older and a little bit more injury prone, but definitely one of the more entertaining, college football players when he was there. He was known for punching out the football like Charles Peanut Tillman, and that definitely carried over into his NFL career. Absolutely love him. See how many I can squeeze in here for you before we get back to the action. 0-0, Memphis and West Virginia. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you. Love me some college football. And a great memory for a lot of LSU fans. some of them are Saints fans as well. You had Joe Burrow, right? You had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even though he got released, right? Jay Jetta and Justin Jefferson. Just think about that for a minute. Out of all the teams in college football that we've seen in the last 20, 30, 40 years, we've never seen anything like that LSU team. You literally had a top 5 quarterback, right? And Joe Burrow, maybe a top, 40 or 50 running back, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But when he first came into the league, it looked like he would be a top 20 running back. And then you literally have the number 1 and number 2 wide receivers in the league at that time. I mean, what a hell of a team, let alone with defensive players like Devin White and a few other guys that ended up making the NFL. Pretty fucking amazing to have Burrow, Chase, and Jetta all on the same team. No wonder they had the, arguably the best college football team of all time in that particular year. It's debated, but what a special team. And again, when you have players like that end up carrying over their talents from college to the NFL, I don't think I've ever seen an offense as good as that in my lifetime. And I probably will never see another college football offense as good as that. Because what are the chances that we're going to get 2 top receivers and a top 5 quarterback all on the same team? Not likely. Appreciate you, STL. Even the bots are coming in on college football. They love me. DBU, baby. And I'll be watching all of those, college football playoff games, even the ones that are on at like 9 a.m. I'm all about that life. I mean, like I said, I really enjoy college football to the fullest, and I think that they've really closed the gap to the NFL. It's just going to take some people to have an open mind, and I guess it depends if you get frustrated with the referees on the NFL side, which I think a lot of us fans have. We just want the games to be called correctly. We don't want any favoritism, at the end of the game in the fourth quarter to decide wins, which we have been getting in 2024 in the NFL. Seems like it's a little bit more, suspect, to say the least. 2nd down and 6. Less than 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter in the Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl. And let's see if West Virginia and Pat McAfee, as a super fan, can give them some good mojo to at least get some points here in this game. Short game there. Yeah, and even honestly, even if they played the Alabama and Georgia top-tier teams at that time, I don't think they would have been able to stop them. I mean, like I said, top 5 quarterback to this day and the best 2 receivers in the league, that's fucking insanity. 3rd down and 2. Got trips left. Shotgun set for Green. Shotgun set. Green. Pass, and that crossing route over his head, incomplete. Good defense there for the Tigers. And we're starting to get a little bit of a punt party early on, but the points will come, more than likely in the second half. And I would assume that we're going to get some scores here in the first quarter. They're just trying to feel each other out in the Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl here in 2024. Yeah, crazy. I've never seen bots for college football, but I know that that's going to be a regular thing now. West Virginia with the punt. Pat McAfee likes that. Oh, Drake. Oh, the 50. There we go. Good field position. We're going to get points on this drive for Memphis, more than likely. Here we go. Sometimes you got to play that, that field position game before you can get it going. And hopefully we get a few more people and some looky-loos to come in and we can hit the algorithm. And, again, not every matchup is going to, get 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 views. But I would assume, we're going to have a couple big ones. And then obviously with Oregon as well, for people knowing me as, kind of doing the Oregon Ducks and, being their live streamer for their program, just as the Seattle Mariners as well. We are going to be getting a lot of haters that are going to watch the stream hoping that the Ducks lose. There'll be an occasional, Duck fan here and there and fans that are going to be rooting for me, but, that comes with the territory. So he took the job for Norfolk State, but then he said Sacramento State. He said, see you later. I don't want to do it, huh? Rounded up here at 0. But again, I feel like also when games are at 0 in college football, they're still like fun to watch because they're trying. Like I feel like the NFL hasn't got to the point like it's the NBA where they don't try and they're lazy and they don't play defense. It's like you're still going to get effort, but again, with college, they have nothing to lose and everything to gain, right? If they want to be able to make it to the next level, they just can't half-ass it in any game. So I know we're going to get some good points in this one as they get into the flow of the matchup. And then anything, sport related that you guys want to go over in the chat, feel free. It doesn't have to be college football related. It could be a baseball signing, what's going on the NHL, the NBA, college hoops, men's or women's, WWE, AEW, whatever you guys want. Yeah, Bellinger a little bit of a downgrade for obviously Soto, but again, if Bellinger can stay healthy, that could be a good signing. But if he ends up, being injury prone, I'm not sure if that's going to be worth, the salary. I mean, it's a player that I like. I liked him on the Dodgers. I liked him on the Cubs. He is a guy easy to root for, and hopefully his health will be there, so that way he can have an impact for the Yankees. West Virginia with like the alternate helmet color with that yellow. Looking like a bunch of bumblebees out there. Shotgun set. Hennigan, 2 running back set, hands off. Mario Anderson is a beast, man. If you're looking at watching 2 players in this entire game, it's going to be the quarterback for Memphis and the running back for Memphis. Those are going to be the 2 best players that are on the field that are going to wow you in this particular matchup. And when you watch Mario Anderson, he kind of reminds you of like a Mark Ingram or a Maurice Jones-Drew, kind of more of a, bigger shoulders, kind of a stocky back, but he definitely has the power and the speed once he gets into that second level. First down and 10. And they're going to go heavy with him, too. And he can run over you, which I like. Couple yard gain there. Yeah. Well, Burrow started at Ohio State, and if he would have gotten a chance to prove that he could have done it, then he would have maybe been doing big things over there and maybe led them to a natty. But they gave up on him and decided to come to LSU, and that was probably the smartest thing that he's done in his entire life. And what a cool way to not only play with one of your best friends in college, but then you get on the same team in the NFL. It's like a dream come true for those 2 guys. And those guys end up, being neighbors, and they live next to each other. Pretty crazy story. Burrow and Chase. Little check down. Oh, hit him with the shake. And another one. Good tackle from behind from the Mountaineers. DeRosiers Jr. Third down. And I also feel like the college football playoff games are going to be better than NFL playoff games this year. The matchups are pretty good, for the very first year of the college football playoff, and it's going to get better and better and better with more on the line. Shotgun set. Keeper. And again, go, baby, go. Go, go, go. Ooh, we almost got there. And you know what I think the college football playoff really does? It makes up for all the bad matchups during the regular season where you get a ranked team that's like number 2 versus an unranked team. With all these awesome ranked matchups in the college football playoff, it makes up for a lot of those bad matchups that we ended up having, in the first couple months of the season. What a great way to end it, too. First and goal. And Memphis is knocking on the door. They're going to get on the board. If you are them, might as well hand it off to Mario Anderson Jr. Trips right. Shotgun set, Hannigan. Bootleg, little flip. Look at that creativity. A little Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, right? Going to a little flip right there. Mario Anderson Jr. whipping it up. I love it, baby. 4-yard receiving touchdown. They hit you with the trips right, thinking that they might be going for a bubble screen or a screen pass. No. They'll just wait for everyone to focus their eyes to the right. They stop looking at Mario Anderson Jr. there, just kind of hunched over, and then they do a little flip, and it leads to an easy touchdown right up the gut. Nice creativity by Memphis. I didn't know they had that in their bag. I told y'all they would score. Here we go. It's all about that field position. Extra point is up, and good. 7-0 Memphis. Wow, bro. Yeah, that's amazing work, dude. When I ended up working at a fishing warehouse where they had like fishing poles and lures and baits, and we had to do orders for like the number 1 website, and it was like kind of a similar to an Amazon situation, not to the volume that you guys are getting, but I mean there would be thousands and thousands and thousands of packages every day that we had to ship out, and man, 42, that's a lot. That's a lot of packages. How many people do you got working to do those 42,000? I imagine there's quite a few people working to sort all that out. Who's front runner to win the F1 championship next year? Seth Hannigan, pass complete. Mario Anderson Jr. for 4 yards. Touchdown, Memphis. Here we go. We need 3 more likes to be able to get to 10. So if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 2 more now to get to 10, and then hopefully we'll be able to get to 20. Me and Paisley went on some pretty long walks. It's been pretty wet and dreary here in Oregon today. I've been binge watching Shameless from the very beginning. I'm on season 2 now. Watched it way back in the day, but it's been a while, for a show that made it 11 seasons. Absolutely fucking love it. It's a very addicting show. It's like once you watch one episode and you get kind of attached to the characters, and then it's like almost like a train wreck of the craziest shit that goes on in that show that you never know what to expect on the next episode, and that's how they get you. 7-0 Memphis. $35. Oh man. 3-way. Verstappen, Norris. A nice little winter vacation for you. Give you time to, catch up on a lot of different, movies, TV shows, sports, wrestling. That'll be nice. Nice execution there by Memphis. Absolutely love that play call. Now hopefully we can get Pat McAfee's West Virginia Mountaineers to not lay a goose egg, and hopefully they can respond. 20 total TDs for Mario Anderson Jr., tied 8th in FBS. So that's why, it's nice to be able to watch games like this, because it's not like we're going to normally go out of our way to watch Memphis unless they're on the schedule for our favorite college football team. So, and you never know, some of these guys that we see on these teams and some of these bowl games that I'm going to be doing, we might end up seeing them on the next level in the NFL. So, all right, Memphis with the kickoff. And it goes over their head. Touchback for West Virginia. But watching film and reading and evaluating talent is my favorite thing to do. So, again, if you watch a lot of college football, you'll definitely be a lot smarter on the NFL side because you've already watched these guys grow in front of your very eyes. First down and 10 for the Mountaineers. Come on, baby. Do it for Pat. Do it for McAfee. White with the short run. I mean, if they had Steve Slayton and Pat White and some of those guys from back in the day, we'd been in for a good matchup here tonight. But hopefully some of these guys can step up. Their record is nowhere near what Memphis is, but hopefully they can flash just a little bit. There we go. Bouncing it to the outside. Almost a first down for West Virginia. Just a yard short of the marker. Good stiff arm there on the sideline as he gets pushed into the Memphis bench. Nice job, Gallagher. And I was just talking about watching Shameless, and then the guy Gallagher makes the play. Coincidence? I think not. Sports gods are trying to tell me a message. They say, oh, you're watching Shameless with the Gallaghers? Boom, Gallagher gets the ball. Interesting. I see you, sports gods. You always like to sprinkle in little things to let me know that you're paying attention to what I'm saying. Shotgun set. Handoff up the gut. Push forward. And he might have gotten that first down. First down, Mountaineers. Move the chains. Here we go. Memphis ain't playing around. We're at 5:95 to go. Keep track of the likes for me too, and hopefully we can get a few more people to come through. Shotgun set. Garrett Green, check down. Towards the sideline, puts his head down. Ross with 7 yards. Not sure if I really like the West Virginia helmets. It's too much of a mustard yellow. It's not like chrome. It's not like a bright yellow. And I know it matches kind of like their jersey color scheme, but it's just kind of a dull mustardy orange yellow. It just doesn't really pop uniform-wise and helmet-wise. Memphis definitely looking a little bit more swaggy out there. But obviously white and blue is going to look a little bit better than that navy and kind of mustard yellow. Fumble! And Memphis recovers, I believe. Oh, my. Big turnover. Mod Cole. Wow. One-on-one. Watch this right here. Handoff up the gut. One-on-one. Pow! And then punches it right out. Helmet on football. Boom! Beautiful. I love me some defense, so. Okay. Memphis came to play. Donaldson Jr., he can't believe it. He ain't getting no dinner tonight. Record by turnover margin. You win the turnover battle, 4-0. You lose the turnover battle, not good. First down and 10. Uh-oh, one-on-one. Back shoulder, incomplete. Kobe Drake, the intended receiver. Yeah, 25th in the nation, 10-2 record, and they might actually be better than 25th. They might actually be as high as maybe 20. We'll see what they end up doing here today, but I could definitely see this one getting ugly at some point or another. But hopefully West Virginia doesn't give up like 50, and then they put up 10 or less, but based on how Memphis is playing, I could see them getting into the 30s or 40s if this continues, especially if West Virginia and their turnovers, and hopefully West Virginia can get to at least 17 for pride. 13 to 17 for pride if they're going to get blown out like 35-17 or something, but we want to make sure we're seeing action on both sides rather than like a 35-3 kind of game. But easier said than done when you're going against Memphis. Good quarterback, good running back, and a pretty good defense. Well, he's got plenty of time back there. He's making a sandwich. Pump fake, pump fake, pump fake, and takes the positive yardage. Seth Hennigan, 3-yard gain. Yeah, they had some upset wins, in the season, right? They beat, Bama? Not going to happen normally, but again, that would have never happened if Saban was coaching. 3rd down and 7 for Seth Hennigan. Glad we have a few players that are going to be exciting to watch to make the experience overall better. Quarterback and running back for Memphis, must-see TV. Hennigan and Anderson. Check down. There he is. Go, go, go. Down the sideline. 1st down. Tigers. Move the chains. Little pump fake, and obviously playing man, you got to take what they give you, and they're marching here again. 1st down and 10 for the Tigers in the Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl. Shotgun set, screen pass. Oh, that could have been a face mask or a horse collar. Did he get him there or no? Kind of an awkward tackle and landing there. No flag though. Good defense there by the Mountaineers. Let's see if he ended up getting a piece of that helmet or not. Well, the back of the helmet a little bit, it looks like. Let's look at the replay again. Looks pretty clean. Good no call. That's like probably one of the first times that we're going to say that, watching college football or the NFL. Good no call or good call. Referees have definitely been not very good in the NFL. I think they've been pretty good in college football. They've had a couple bad calls early on, like that Oregon-Ohio State game with that interception that they didn't give us. Every once in a while you'll have some fucked up, plays that they call or don't call, but I feel like the games don't get dictated by penalties in the 4th quarter like they do in the NFL. You want to make sure, let the players play. Unless it's a blatant penalty. And if it's a penalty, fucking call it. Don't have a face mask and all the referees are staring, and then you don't even call a flag. That's what the NFL does. At least in college football, they'll throw it. 3rd down and 8 as they make a late substitution here. Let's see if he gets off the field before Memphis hikes it. Play clock running down, man in motion, shotgun set, 3rd down and 8. Hennigan looking, got a target, incomplete. Good defense there by the Mountaineers. And is there a flag on the play? No flags, and it looks like they may be going for a field goal. But that is the end of the 1st quarter, 7-0 Memphis. Pretty good 1st quarter. I mean, obviously you would want scores on both sides, but with all things considered, not a college football playoff game, a bowl game, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's better than watching an NBA game or most college hoops games or most NHL games at this point in the season. So I'll take it. Yeah, I'll turn that on. Thank you for the reminder for Senators and Kraken. The shitty thing is with the Kraken, injuries, and Grubauer stinks. So when Grubauer's in net, we lose. He's got a horrible record. But if DeCord is playing, we're going to have a shot. So hopefully DeCord is in net tonight, and we can end up getting the dub. But it definitely has been a hard watch for the Kraken this year. Now, I've been trying to watch as many games as I can, but just offensively, some games good, some games terrible. Defensively, some games good, some games terrible. But again, Grubauer, not good. And I said this a couple years ago. I just didn't think Grubauer and DeCord were good enough. Just those two alone for like the next 5 to 10 years, you're probably going to need to get someone better, even better possibly than DeCord, to replace Gru and anyone else that they give a chance to get it done. So otherwise, if we keep, going with these two goalies, we're never going to make the playoffs. We're going to be bottom 3 forever. and I don't want that. So I want to see them make the playoffs. End of the first quarter, 7-0 Tigers. Yeah, give me a reminder in 10 minutes again. I'll be looking at the clock, and then I'll get that screen turned on. Actually, I'll just do it right now. Fuck it. We'll have a pre-show on right now. Hold on. All right, Kraken, boom. Ottawa Senators, beat their ass. All right, okay, boom, boom. All right, I got it on now. California UNLV tomorrow. Chargers and Broncos on Thursday. And then Indiana Notre Dame. Man, I'm excited for that. And I feel like, in this college football playoff, like even if you don't know the names of the players, even if you're not too familiar, like maybe you watched a little bit, maybe you haven't, maybe you watched a few games, but the way that it's structured with all these great teams that are going to be in this college football playoff, I feel like every college football playoff game is like must-see TV. Like in the NFL, it's not really the case. There might be a playoff game that might be a little bit more boring compared to some of the other potential matchups. But when it's the college football playoff, there literally is no bad matchup. Like you don't know what's going to happen. Any underdog could end up winning, and every matchup is like super exciting. Like I don't really think that there's anything there. Like we definitely have the teams that we feel that are going to move on. Like for me, I'm feeling that it's probably going to be more than likely it'll be Texas and Oregon in the top bracket, and then you're going to get probably Penn State and Notre Dame, maybe on the bottom bracket possibly. So we'll wait and see how it all plays out. Rich Rod in the building. Fourth down and 8. 34-yard attempt on the right hash. Let's see if he can do it. Kick is up. And good. He made it. That one was going wide left, but had enough in there. Nice kick by Vandenberg on that right hash. A difficult kick for a college kid. 10-0 Memphis. Here we go. Yeah, I'm not really into the college baseball that much, or like the Little League World Series. But I'll tell you, when the college baseball playoffs are on and the Little League World Series and that playoffs is going, I'll tune in a little bit here and there, But it's like, I don't really have a specific team that, like I think if I was an Oregon State Beaver fan instead of a Duck fan, then I would be watching their baseball team, because obviously we know they've had a lot of MLB pros come in when they were the best in the land for a few years ago. I know Ducks have, gotten a little bit of a start, with their program there, but, I'm more of a, MLB guy, but, if baseball is on, depending on who's playing and what's up for grabs, then I'll be, if it's a regular season college baseball game, I got no interest. But if it ends up being for like the championship, yeah, I'll probably tune in just to be able to see, history being made and, records possibly being broken. So, yeah, cool that Rich Rod is back. He'll recruit well, and he's well liked, and he was one of the guys that had the most success in that program. And, I imagine he could call Pat McAfee, and McAfee could go in there and give him some pep talks here and there and help with recruiting. And, maybe we'll get West Virginia to be a top 25 team in the next couple years. I think that would be good for college football, rather than them being 6-6. It'd be much better if they could get a similar record to like Memphis, or, even a little bit better, like an 8-4 record, something like that. I mean, LSU has just got athletes everywhere. Skeens, his girlfriend, Libby Dunn. I mean, baseball, gymnastics, football. They had Shaq, had basketball. I mean, what does LSU not do? They got some of the best, athletes ever, in the land. And I can't wait to keep seeing what Skeens will develop into. I don't think he's going to be a Strasburg. He might be like the modern day Nolan Ryan. He might end up being like that next big Randy Johnson, type of guy. Pedro Martinez, like maybe this generation's like elite number one guy. Can't wait. Good tackle by Memphis, which reminds me I probably should get a Paul Skeens rookie card auto before they go up in too much value. They're already going for a high number right now, but if he continues to have success and ends up being a Hall of Famer, I got to get it within the first couple years, because once he starts getting into like year 3, 4, 5, and if he ends up starting to win Cy Youngs and he's like the best pitcher in baseball, all that stuff is going to be worth, $500 and up. So if you want to make sure you grab one, when they're in the couple $100 range, so that way if you spend like $200 or $300, it may go up to like $1,000 or higher down the road. So depending on what you have. 10-0 Memphis. Come on, Garrett Green. Show me, baby. Come on, Green. Oh, he stepped up in the pocket. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. First down. Mountaineers. Pat McAfee liked that one. Now, if we would have saw that in the NFL, that would have came back to holding, like in the matchup last night. But good awareness by Garrett Green. First down, Mountaineers. I love Skeens. It's cool to, I love catchers probably the most out of any position, because I just like offensive linemen, D linemen, defense. I like underappreciated positions in sports. But as far as pitchers are concerned, I don't think I've seen anyone as talented as Skeens in a long fucking time. He's like on that Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, like kind of level. And obviously he's only played 1 year. But we saw what he did in college, and again, as long as he doesn't have a bunch of Tommy Johns, I mean, this could be, like the must-see thing, which he already is. Like anytime he pitches, I tune on, I tune in, I turn it on, and I watch. Now, I want to be able to see history being made, Wish Seattle had him. I would have already bought a jersey of him if that was the case. 2nd down and 8. Good tackle there by the Tigers. 3rd down. I'm not like super into the college baseball like I mentioned, but that would be awesome. I would definitely get in on that. Like going in person to that event would be insane. Like the camaraderie, the cheering, the families, the fans. Like the excitement level, you could feel the energy, in the building for sure on those fields. And off, trying to bounce off a couple Tigers on 3rd down and 1, gets nothing. 4th down and 1 for West Virginia, and you're close to the 50. You got to go for it. Get a QB sneak here with Garrett Green or hand it off. But again, their offensive line isn't as good as Memphis's D-line, so they're very cautious. But you're already down 10-0. Memphis is going to win the game. We already know that, but we just want West Virginia not to embarrass themselves. And I think it's super dope that they got the country roads on the helmets for West Virginia. How cool is that? Subtle details on uniforms and helmets, I absolutely love. 4th down and 1, shotgun set. Green, play action, keeper, floater, incomplete. Why would you run that play right there on 4th down and 1? Come on, West Virginia. I mean, that play would have been good if it was single coverage, but not double coverage. When you only need 1 yard, that's something you do if it's like 4th and 6. Not 4th and 1. Come on. Just line it up underneath the center. Push him. Get the yard. I guess they're intimidated by Memphis's D-line. 10-0 Tigers. Okay, we got some athletes out here for Oregon and Washington. We don't even need to include California. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of guys that come up, in Pop Warner or in, high school, a lot of those guys start out here in, like, Oregon and Washington, and then they end up going, to the bigger schools, the USCs when they were big, like Troy Polamalu's from Oregon. Not a lot of people, know that. Emeka Egbuka, that stud receiver there for Ohio State, He's from Washington, just right up north from me, like not that far away from me. So I think like a lot of people assume when they see a lot of these guys that they're from like, Ohio or Michigan, and they're just going to their, hometown college that's, popular. Ohio State, Michigan, Bama, Georgia. But, we got some athletes out here too. 10-0 Tigers. But I will give you that. Obviously Texas is large and in charge. Florida, they always have athletes. The games are obviously very meaningful there. Yeah, LSU, they got some bosses. Like this guy. Boss. Kind of crazy as you get older, how your favorites change, to go from like the NBA in the 80s and 90s when it was peak at the best. That was my number one. And then now it's like unwatchable. And I feel like college football, NASCAR, and the MLB have really risen like to the top. I think I even enjoy some of those sometimes even more than the NFL. And I don't know if I ever thought that would be the case, that I would like college football, Major League Baseball, and NASCAR, on the, same level as the NFL or even more. And we got to include WWE and wrestling too. That's at the top for me. Handoff. Uh-oh. Anderson. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Down the sideline. Touchdown. Tigers. Oh, my. Oh, my. Greg, the leg. Unbelievable. I thought that was Anderson for a second, but they ended up making a substitution there. They had the backup go in there rumbling and bumbling. Wow. Look at this. Look at the blocking up front. Look at the vision. And then he's just tiptoeing in my Jordans, tiptoeing down the sideline. Nice play. Touchdown, Tigers. Pat McAfee might have turned the TV off. Extra point is up and good. 17-0 Memphis. Come on, West Virginia. Delosier. Look at that. Tiptoeing in my Jordans. They copied me. They're listening. See? I'm telling y'all. When have you ever heard tiptoeing in my Jordans? You don't hear that. People be listening and people be watching, man. Hit you with that riffraff. Hopefully West Virginia can get on the board to make it at least somewhat interesting. I mean, we already know that. I already knew it was going to end up being a blowout, but I wanted to evaluate the players and, see how they look in the matchup, and hopefully West Virginia doesn't get shut out completely. And depending on where we end on likes and on the dono train, that may determine if we end up doing the game tomorrow between Cal and UNLV. If we end up, getting to a decent number, maybe we end up doing it tomorrow. But if it ends up being a little underwhelming, we'll probably take tomorrow off. I don't want to, but, we'll see. I would rather do the games tomorrow. And, I'm not sure how UNLV and Cal will play out. I would assume it'll be similar to this game where UNLV will beat Cal in a similar way that Memphis is beating West Virginia. But, we're in the second quarter. We still got time to hopefully get a few more people to come through and show some love or just hang out. It's like you don't got to care about either of these two teams or college football to come through and show some support. All right, 10 more to go. And we're at 5:95 to go. Hopefully we get a few more goats to come through. Now, I already knew Greg Schiano was never going to make it in the NFL with the Bucs. That was like the worst hire for us ever. Like you get a disciplined guy that likes to yell but doesn't get the results. The message is going to go in one ear out the other if you're going to be a screamer and a yeller, and then it doesn't equate to any wins or more discipline, and you just get your ass fired. All right, touchback. Come on, West Virginia. Belichick from Mac Brown. Neil Brown, Rich Rod, I like that. Walters, Odom. Gus Malzahn from UCF to Scott Frost. Interesting. Frost will probably have some success there at UCF if they can get a few recruits. And I'll definitely be watching North Carolina a little bit more just because Belichick is there to see what he recruits. I mean, he might end up getting some amazing defensive talent that could go to like a Georgia or an Oregon or a Bama or Ohio State, but they're like, well, Bill Belichick is a defensive guru, and if I go to this school and I play well, I'm going to make the NFL, because of Belichick's recommendation as well. So I don't think they're going to be like a top dog, but I assume that they'll be relevant moving forward. And then maybe they'll end up having a decent record one day where they go 9-3, 10-2, something like that. Handoff, bouncing it to the outside. Go West Virginia. There you go. First down. Mountaineers. They need Steve Slayton. They need Pat White. They need every single West Virginia player that's been good in their team history tonight. Down already 17. Good angle there. Good stiff arm as well by White. Handoff up the gut. Memphis. Good defense up front with their front seven. Second down. Like maybe, maybe they'll be able to recruit a guy like a Julius Peppers, where he could have went to many different schools, but, ended up going to North Carolina. But I would assume if Belichick was coaching back then, what kind of player, secrets would he have gotten from Belichick at that point, to be able to take to the NFL? But again, not every NFL coach is going to be a good college coach and vice versa, right? Unless you're, Tim Harbaugh or Pete Carroll. I mean, it's, usually it's not too kind for a lot of coaches. Usually you're good at one, but not the other. Or if you're a coordinator and you try to be a head coach, that typically doesn't work either, unless you have the aura and the vibe. I'll start on the offense. Self-inflicted wounds by the Mountaineers. Come on, man. 9:09 left here in the second quarter. 17-0 Memphis. Second down and 13. Less than 9 minutes to go. Hopefully West Virginia can get on the board with at least a field goal to stop the bleeding. Shotgun set. Garrett Green. Nice. There we go. Best throw of the day for West Virginia. First down. Mountaineers. Move the chains. Hudson Clement with this nice route. Now let me give you a little post route. Bang! Perfect timing by Garrett Green in that time throw. First down, West Virginia. Move the chains. There we go. A couple more of those, they'll get on the board. 3 wide receiver set. Shotgun set. Green. Hands off. White run for a couple. 4 or 5 yard gain. Second down. All right, West Virginia, country roads, dig deep. Let's go. Let's get it to 17-7. All right, let's go. 4 wide. Shotgun set. Green. Good protection. One-on-one. Going deep. Got a man. Touchdown, West Virginia. Hudson Clement, baby. Garrett Green with the connection. There we go. That's exactly what we needed right there. 33-yard receiving touchdown. Hudson Clement from Garrett Green. Now we have ourselves a game. Hell yeah. I mean, all I can do is just work hard every day. You know, I can't control what people do, you know, if they show up or if they don't, you know, based on their schedules and if they want to support. But yeah, I mean, obviously the more the goats, the better. I'm still going to be here regardless. So great drive by West Virginia, because let's be honest, if they don't get points on that drive or the next drive before halftime, then it's really, really going to be a blowout, and it's going to be kind of like, you know, just kind of running in mud, and the game will get, you know, a little bit harder to watch on that one side. But I'm glad that West Virginia dug deep country roads, right? Got a couple nice completions there, and now they're back in it. Extra point is up and good. 17-7. Memphis. Yeah, I beat her week 1. You know, when I actually had a good team and AR played his like one good game of the year early on. So, but also, you know, Double E went through some tragedy. You know, so if he were able to beat Reflect and Zini and win it all, that would be a pretty special thing. You know, in a year that hasn't been good for him. Obviously, Zini, you know, representing the females and has the best team besides Reflect all year. But, you know, if Double E were to pull off the upset 2 weeks in a row, you know, that would be a good thing for him too, you know, especially when his team is nowhere near as has the depth as hers. So, yeah, I got that on right now as well. Senators and Kraken. We got a couple different broadcasts, TSN and a few others. Who's in net for Seattle, though? That's the question. Is it Decord or is it Grew? Hopefully Decord. Now I have to look. Oh, it's Decord. Oh, we have a chance then, for sure. We definitely got a chance to win this game. Good. All right. This one will actually be worth watching then, you know, because again, when Grew's in net, I mean, sometimes the game's already over in the first period. So if Decord is in there, and he'll have his ups and downs as well, but he's much more consistent. So We can win games with DeCord, who's the better goalie anyways. Not the greatest month, with obviously Christmas in this particular month, but yeah. Yeah, but with E being so young, you and me are like twice his age. I mean, imagine being his age and losing your mom or dad at 20 years old. That I can't even that I don't know, man. That's regardless if you have a good relationship with your mom and dad or you don't, or it's or it's in the process. That would be a very difficult, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't even imagine, I'm lucky right now being the age that I am, and, both my mom and dad are, getting up there in age in like the 70s and the 80s, but they're still, breathing, they're still going. So, but Elliot will always be my son, and I'll always take care of him, I mean, he's our longest, watcher from being like a kid, getting to this point. He started watching me when he was like, 12, 13, 14 years old, and now he's in his 20s. So, but I think losing a parent at any age, yeah, definitely a tough circumstance for sure. All right, come on, Kraken. All right, Memphis, your turn. 17-7. Tigers. And I needed them to be able to keep me interested in this game by getting that touchdown. We don't want it to be, 24-0, 31-0. Handoff. Mario Anderson Jr., short game. I appreciate that. I feel like we got a lot of brothers and sisters, and we got, for some of us, the bonds are closer than others. Lots of ups, lots of downs, but one thing is for sure, I'm definitely resilient, having to kind of pivot and, reinvent myself over and over and over again. But I'm really happy where I'm at and can't wait to see where we go. Especially if the Ducks win the Natty and the Mariners end up winning the World Series one day, then, this channel will take another leap. Either people rooting for the Mariners to lose and the Ducks to lose, or, not being a hater and rooting for me to actually have some joy in my life. First down and 10, Tigers. We got a wide variety of ages on the channel too, as low as like 10 to 13 and as old as 90. So sometimes people don't even realize how old some of the people are, Good tackle there by West Virginia. We haven't said that too often on defense. Second down. Brock Taylor for an 8-yard game previously. Second down and 11. Shotgun set. And again, screen pass. Good tackle there by West Virginia. They're starting to get a little bit of momentum here. So if they can end up getting a stop and they can get another score and we can have a 17-14 game at half, then West Virginia will actually believe that they have a chance to win this. And I think it'll spark some interest, in the second half for people that maybe thought this one was already over, which we already kind of feel that, but we want a good game, right? I want to be able to evaluate as much talent as I can, since I'm not normally watching these schools on a regular basis. It's film study, but just live. Third down and 9. Shotgun set. Hennigan. Floater. One-on-one. Oh, baby! Wow. Rock Taylor. First down. Tigers. Right there in the breadbasket. What a fucking catch. What a throw by Hennigan as well. One-on-one. Look at the float. Right, one-on-one. He gets turned around. Gets him on that back shoulder where he only can get it. What a catch. What a fucking catch. I love it. Hit him with the quad. Hennigan. Towards the sideline. Almost intercepted, but caught. Out of bounds. Memphis has got kind of a cool look with their helmet, and then they got the number on the other side with the M and the tiger. They got the number on the other side of the helmet like Alabama used to do. Kind of like the tint of the blue that Memphis has. I mean, when I think of Memphis, I think of like Penny Hardaway. Hand off up the gut, goes for the hurdle, runs over 2 Mountaineers. Wow. Tried to do his own version of Saquon Barkley right there with the hurdle, except it wasn't backwards though. Wow. Mario Anderson Jr. rumbling and a bumbling. I like watching him. Congrats. 90 days is always good, considering you had some ups and downs with those previous jobs. Hard to be able to find a job that pays well, right? That gives you benefits, that you actually like the coworkers and the managers and the owners. Like, it's really hard to be able to get like all these different things checked off. And sometimes you'll have like 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3, but not a lot of times will you have it 3 out of 3. And hopefully that will be one that sticks for you. And again, pump fake, going towards the sideline, out of bounds. Yeah, the quarterback class stinks. So a guy like Hennigan, might be able to, make it to the NFL as a backup. Again, this might be like the worst quarterback class in college football that we've had in a long time. There's still going to be a couple guys that will pan out, but I mean, I don't think anyone really screams like this is going to change the league. Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, they seem like they might be, some of the better ones. And Quinn Ewers, if he, goes to the NFL or goes back to college or transfers to another school, which is possible with an NIL deal, he can go back to Ohio State. And if he goes back, that could, get that team maybe do an Abby, get them where they need to be, because quarterback play for Ohio State really hasn't been that good in the last couple years. You had one guy end up transferring to go to Syracuse. He wasn't good, right, with Kyle. And then you seen what you had with Will this year. Not good, just mid. Got to have a dominant quarterback at a school like that if you want to win. 3rd down and 7 for Hennigan. Hennigan's fun. Mario Anderson Jr. is fun. They got some fun players out there here today. Shotgun set. Hennigan. Floater. 1-on-1. Incomplete. Well, Arch is already staying for Texas. He's the starter next year. They already announced it. So Arch is going to start. It's just up to Quinn Ewers, NFL, and there's like NIL money that's out there, like $4 or $5 million. That if he decides not to go to the NFL, and based off like draft position and what team might get him, he could actually go to a Big Ten school like Michigan or Ohio State, and make like $4 or $5 million. Almost like an NFL player. I mean, college kids have a lot of options now. They don't got to go to the NFL right away if they don't want to. They can get endorsements and they can get NIL money. Field goal is up and good. 20-7, Tigers. STL and Kohler back. NBA Cup Championship, which no one really cares about. 71-64 Bucks over the Thunder in the 3rd quarter. Me too. I love it. One passing TD, 9 picks in the last 5 games, and then they finally decided to put Penix in. Could have put Penix in the last game, but at least we're going to get a chance to see him. And depending on who they play, I'm definitely going to be watching, and I would love to be able to call a game. But the Bucks and the Falcons have already played, and we already got beat by them. So, but the Falcons maybe. Do the Falcons have a primetime game, Sarah? Do they got a primetime Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night game before the season ends? I don't know if they will. But if they do, that'll be fun. All right, Garrett Green's going back out there. Now, you get a touchdown here or even a field goal to get it to 20-10 or 20-14. It'll definitely be extra spicy as we get into the second half. Here, I'm going to look on the schedule here. Let me look at the NFL. So Broncos, Chargers, Falcons, Giants. Falcons, Commanders. We get it in week 17. So we are going to get Michael Penix Jr. versus Jaden Daniels. Yes! Yes! Hell yeah. That's not this week, but next week. Next Sunday Night Football. Fuck yeah. I had a feeling that we were going to get it. And then Lions, Niners, and then week 18, obviously, it'll be Panthers, Falcons. So we are going to get Penix versus Jaden Daniels. And, we were always hoping that we were going to get Penix and Bo Nix or Penix and Jaden Daniels. And we at least get one of those this year. Fucking awesome. I am excited. I'm going to be locked and loaded for that. Reflect in the building. We called it, right? He should have started. Should have started last week, but again, 1 touchdown, 9 picks, not a good record. They should have already been starting him a long time ago, but again, they were so good early in the season. That's what kept Kirk that position, beating the Buccaneers and having that good record early on in the first month and a half. But since then, he's been on a skid, and thankfully, they drafted Michael Penix Jr., and we're going to get to see him on Sunday night, not this weekend, but next weekend against Jaden Daniels. That's probably going to be the game that, even though I'm a Bucs fan, I'm probably going to be the most excited to call and watch. Even if the Falcons lose and Penix fucks up a couple times, you would assume that he'll be able to make some plays with his legs, with his arm. You got Kyle Pitts, you got Mooney, you got Drake London. The offensive line is pretty good. Defense typically decent, much better. Let's go. Michael Penix Jr., let's go. Most NFL ready. Penix, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and the whole reason that I brought it up, that I was hoping that he would be playing, because I don't know, the sports gods work in a very mysterious way to let me know that they're paying attention, and it's like I almost knew that we were going to get the Falcons, even though there's only like 3 weeks left until we end up going into like the playoff push. But something told me that there was going to be at least one Falcon opportunity, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, somewhere. And we're going to get it. Fucking A. Let's go. Yes, me too. Me and Paisley got soaked today. Glad that you're here. $5 holla. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. And a lot of times when I do these games, regardless if we have a big turnout or kind of a smaller one, I like to evaluate. Evaluating talent and reading and watching film is my favorite thing to do. So when I can call a game and evaluate the talent at the same time, as well as interact with you guys and talk about what's ever going on, in the sport world or in our personal lives, man, I'm excited. I am super, it's one thing to get the news that Penix is going to start, and I'm going to be real. I was actually considering, just thinking about it, that if he didn't have a primetime game, that maybe I go out of my way to do, a Falcon stream because of him alone. That's when I have a lot of love for a player that I would, it's like I don't even care, because a lot of times, like if you're a fan, you don't really like the other teams in the division. I don't really have a problem with the Panthers or the Falcons or the Saints. I want our division to be respectable. I don't want to be a dog shit conference. So obviously the rivalries with the Saints are fucking real, and the Falcons. Panthers not so much, because they're not really winning against anybody. But the normal rivalry is Bucks, Panthers, Falcons, Saints. But lately the best teams in the division in the NFC South have been Saints and now Bucks. So obviously we're the most relevant. But the Falcons are on the up and up, and at some point the Falcons are gonna win the division over the Saints and the Bucks. Like, it's gonna happen, especially when a guy like Michael Penix Jr., if he can stay healthy and they can keep building around him, build the O-line more, get some more defensive pieces. Garrett Green, little check down. But yes, great idea. It's kind of, and then it was kind of ironic, as soon as we're starting to talk about Michael Penix Jr., poof, here you just show up magically. Yeah. Well, I don't think it was a problem of drafting Cousins. The problem is not getting rid of him and making more moves during the regular season. Like replacing Cousins, after CJ Stroud really wasn't living up to his ranking, and finding another quarterback that, maybe could have got you more. Go, go, go. Big run. Go, go. Touchdown, Mountaineers. And we have a ball game. You see that? We call that the reflect effect. He comes into the room when the game is a little stale, and then all of a sudden the quarterback runs for a 56-yard rushing touchdown. You don't think that's because of Michael Penix Jr.? You bet your ass it was. Awesome. When do you see a quarterback run for almost a 60-yard tutty? Wow. Let's go. But if you were able to drop Cousins early, you could have picked up Baker, or someone else to, have other quarterback options. So, nothing wrong with Cousins. He was good in the first month and a half, but he's just been dog shit in the last, 5 weeks. Got to make moves. Can't be just content with what you have at the beginning of the year. Extra point is up and good. 20-14. You ask and you shall receive. Bang! Let's go. Yeah. And plus, for me as a Duck fan to go Penix over Nix, like how many Duck fans legitimately would say something like that and actually mean it? It's like most Duck fans will just be like, oh, fuck the Huskies, fuck the Beavers, fuck the Cougs, whatever, And even if they know the player is good, they don't want to give credit. They just rather go with the guy that's on their team. And, I got a lot of love for Bo Nix too. I think he got into the right position, by, going to Denver and not being in Chicago. Caleb Williams is getting worse. Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels are getting better. And I think Penix is going to join those two, and show you that, he's got the goods. Offensive line, obviously they need a better, coach, better play caller. Offensive line could be a little bit better, but they have a couple good pieces on it already. Defense could be better, but it has been getting better compared to years past, adding Judon, adding Jesse Bates III. So, they got some pieces, but they just need a little bit more. And if they get a couple more pieces on offense and defense, Atlanta will start winning the NFC South. Not maybe, 3 or 4 years in a row, but they could win it for like a year or two, especially if Penix plays well. Yeah, they've always had a decent O-line. Typically, they have, 2 Pro Bowlers on the line out of 5. And that's kind of been standard for them for a while now. They usually have 2 guys that are Pro Bowl or All-Pro consideration. And then usually the third guy is pretty fucking good too. And then the other 2 are like average, but they're not typically bad. But, you'll have to look at PFF for this year to see what they rank out, compared to the other teams. I haven't looked, in the last few weeks. But it'll be interesting to see what their O-line is ranked on PFF. 20-14 Memphis. We got ourselves a game here. Garrett Green with a nice tutty and then a nice rushing touchdown also as well. Mario Anderson is fun to watch. So, you got both quarterbacks that were on the thumb. They showed out here today. And we actually have a good game now. Started off as maybe a Memphis blowout, but now we're good to go. 14th out of 32 teams. So pretty good. Could be a little bit better. Adding another piece could get them into the top 10. And again, floater incomplete. And I'll get some Penix loaded up here in a second. We got 1:13 before halftime. I am so excited right now. I'm probably more excited than even Husky fans. This is awesome. Falcons fans are excited. Husky fans are super excited. Fucking Penix and his teammates are excited. Jalen McMillan is starting to come into his own for the Bucs. This is nice to be able to see these Huskies, not only play well in college, but to, have it transfer over to the NFL. That's why it's all about the Pacific Northwest, baby. We are always the most underrated, underappreciated. But let me tell you that we got some studs. We got some athletes from Oregon and Washington. Floater, Hannigan, one-on-one, drops it right in the bucket. First down, Tigers. What a catch. But we got a flag on the play. Oh, my. Rock Taylor. Woo! Okay, Rock. Yeah, I think Lindstrom is their best offensive lineman. Is that correct? Like overall, he's the number one. Ooh, late hit. Only 30 miles away. Man, you guys are neighbors. Thank God Pat McAfee and whatever good juju that he's drinking at his house right now to help West Virginia and Rich Rod not get embarrassed in the Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl. Thank God. I didn't want to watch a 42-0 game. I would have, but now, West Virginia is showing that, hey, we might be 6-6, but we can play like an 8-4 team and keep this close. And maybe with a big turnover in the second half, maybe they could pull off the upset, but we'll have to see if their defense will show up. Anderson, hard to bring him down. Short game. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Most of the people that are in the room, I think I've already done it. And hopefully we can get somewhere between 15 and 20 before the stream ends. I think we're at like 11 or 12 now. So 9 more to go to hit 20. And we're at 10. 90 to go. Hannigan, Garrett Green. These two quarterbacks I barely have heard of or watched. And again, they have been putting on a show here at the Frisco Bowl, Scooter Coffee, tonight. Michael Penix Jr. Yes, I'm so excited. Oh, man. I can't wait for that Sunday night matchup 2 weeks from now. Commandos and Falcons. It's going to be like Michael Vick all over again. It's fucking going to be sweet. Shotgun set. Hannigan, one-on-one. Floater. Oh, what a catch! Touchdown, Memphis! Oh, my God. Wow. What a throw. What a catch. Hannigan. I mean, they are putting on a show for a Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl for, one team that's in a top 25, another team that's a 500 ball club. They're putting on a fucking show here tonight. They're getting the 2024 college football bowl season and playoff off to a good fucking start. Let's go. I mean, if I'm getting excited for a big play, it must have been special. Wow. Holy cow. Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah. Can't wait to see this, baby. Two-point conversion even here. They're turning into the Ducks. What are they doing in the Lions? Check down. Little screen. Oh, hit him with a skirt. Oh, my. Wow. He hit him with the brakes. And it looks like he's going to get stopped at the 1 yard line or 2 yard line, and then he hits him with the little hip wiggle, hit him with the shimmy and the shake. Oh, my God. Left and right. And he didn't tear his ACL, PCL, or MCL. Beautiful. Oh, my. Oh, my. My goodness. You'll be able to grip that football for some beautiful spirals. I've been waiting for a good lefty. Tua, to me, is not good. He's... sometimes he can play like a top 5, top 10 quarterback, but he's too inaccurate for me. I want to be able to have someone that, is not just like a game manager or slightly better than a game manager like Tua. It's like if Tua didn't have Waddle or Achane or Mostert or Tyreek, you put him on another team, are we really talking about Tua? If he's on the Browns or the Jags, probably not, And I feel like, I want him to be as close to Steve Young, Michael Vick type as possible, which is asking a lot, Boomer Esiason, some lefties are better than others. Even when they had, Scotty Mitchell, there for the Lions back in the day, there hasn't really been a lot of lefties. And but one thing about lefties is just they have, great delivery if they're a smooth lefty. If they're not a smooth lefty, then they look like Tim Tebow or Dylan Gabriel. And, that kind of delivery typically does not work in the NFL. Shot put, style. You have to be smooth with it. Like your left-handed throws need to be smoother than any righty ever, and you get it with, some of them, but not all of them. For real, though, motherfuckers' ankles are broken. Ankles, not just one, but both. Yeah, it was just like Jordan back in the day. I mean, he was able to, do the pump fake with one hand. He was like one of the only NBA players that was able to do that. If your hands are as big as where you can wrap around the basketball and you can literally move it around with just one hand, like think about how much of an advantage that would be back in that time period in the 80s and 90s. That physical style of play, and he had the hang time to get hit, body-wise, but then he could maneuver his body and find different layups and dunks to still get done. Wow, first down, Mountaineers. Move the chains. 28-14, Memphis. And we'll get some Penix Jr. photos here at halftime. Yeah, baby. First down and 10. Oh, baby. Lefty, 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 lefty. Touchdown, Falcons. I mean, imagine if Penix was on the Bears, his career would be ruined. Jaden Daniels on the Bears, career ruined. Bo Nix on the Bears, career ruined. So, some places are just doomed, and I don't think that they're going to get any better. I sure as hell wouldn't want to be going to Chicago. Almost intercepted. What happened to my hands? Watts almost with the pick. Yeah, pretty amazing, huh? And I'm like happy that you guys did it, whether it's the Beavers or the Cougs or the Huskies, like someone other than the Ducks to kind of get on the map. And, again, we had the best conference in college football last year, and you've seen a lot of the teams top to bottom and how much success they've had in other conferences. Like, we are the most underappreciated conference. And, again, it's a lot easier to win the Big Ten than it is to win the Pac-12 because you just never knew, that team that was towards the bottom that could end up beating a top team, whether it's Arizona State, or the Oregon State Beavers. Like, I feel like people just thought that, oh, these guys are not very good because they can't win a natty. Well, hell, because we don't have enough NFL players recruiting-wise compared to Ohio State, Michigan, Bama, and Georgia. It's like if you weren't one of those four schools, you were fucked, right? But just because we weren't able to win a natty doesn't mean that the whole conference stinks, and I think people are starting to realize that now in the college football scene that, the Pac-12 teams that were there are pretty fucking good. Look at Arizona State winning the Big 12. They were projected for last. They won it with Scataboo. Just saying, Utah was supposed to have a good chance with that one, but Arizona State was predicted last. What the disrespect, And I can't wait for Washington to get good again. I would love that, because again, we're probably not going to see UCLA get great unless they get the proper, coach to, get them to be relevant. But USC and Washington can, join the party with Oregon, so that way it's not just, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, and whoever else. Join the party. 8 more seconds left, and we'll get some Penix photos up here. Kind of crazy to think that this score in this matchup in the first half is 28-14. I mean, it kind of felt like you might be able to get that number with Memphis, but at some point in the game, it looked like West Virginia might get a 0, or it would be like a 3 or a 6. But thank God for Garrett Green, channeling in his inner Pat White, Steve Slayton, Pat McAfee, and getting them at least a couple tutties, running in one and throwing for one. 3rd down and 10. Green, check down. We're trying to get a field goal here. 28-17 is much better than 28-14. I'll give them that. This is called good clock management. And they had some bad luck with some fumbles early on, too. Yeah, but Cousins in his whole career has always been like that. Good Cousins, bad Cousins. Like, there'll be some games he plays great. His knock in the past was he couldn't play on prime time, on Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night. Then he finally was able to play well. But anytime you have a significant injury and you're old as a quarterback, it's hard to get your body right. Whether that's an ACL, MCL, PCL, or an Achilles. You're not the same. Especially if you weren't really that mobile to begin with. And then now you have an injury like that, it's like, you're never going to be the same quarterback that you were if you're old. Unless you're like genetically blessed and you work harder than anyone like a Kobe Bryant, but Kirk Cousins is not a Kobe Bryant. All right, Michael. Michael Hayes is second. I wonder if he's related to the Michael Hayes in WWE. 4th and 4. Kick is up. And good. Nice. 28-17. This has been a high-scoring affair. Okay. Let's go. That's a lot better than 3-0 or 0-0. Let's get some Penix photos up. Good first half for the very first game of the 2024 bowl season. I mean, you don't want to start it off with all the hype in the college football playoff and have this game be like 3-0. So thank God we got a 28-14 score. I mean, I love defense, but in this type of game, we want scoring. We'll leave the defense to Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Georgia. We're going to get defense there. But in a game like this, we want the offenses to thrive. Yeah, not smart. But they did, they were smart on drafting Penix, though. Just to make sure to have the best insurance plan. And right now, all those Falcons fans that were bitching when they picked Michael Penix Jr. now is like, oh my God, thank God we did that. Because you could have gotten an offensive lineman, you could have gotten another defensive player, but an impact guy like this, like a Bo Nix, a Jaden Daniels, a Michael Penix Jr., if he ends up, panning out, which I feel he will. You're not going to be able to, get production like this out of another player on the O-line or defense for a team that needs a quarterback. Denver needs one. They got one, right? Washington desperately needed a head coach and a quarterback. They got both. Atlanta desperately needs a quality quarterback. They had one that they thought, even though he was aging, coming off an injury, but that was one of the smartest things that Atlanta has done in like the last 30 years, getting this right here. Much better than Caleb, much better than Drake May, much better than J.J. McCarthy, and on the same level as Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, 100%. That was an amazing game. And instead of throwing to Roma Dunzier and Jalen McMillan, he'll be going to, Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. He'll be just fine. Yeah. And again, having that extra experience really shows the difference. Like comparing, those guys to, someone like AR who barely played, in high school and college and then, ended up going to the NFL. Like if you don't have the proper coach, the proper GM, the proper supporting cast, it's almost a recipe for disaster. Not many guys with that lack of reps and game experience are going to be able to excel at the NFL level. And, guys like Penix and Bo, had plenty of experience under their belt, and that's definitely going to help them. And hopefully AR will get better. Otherwise, he will be a backup very, very soon. And they'll have to be looking for another quarterback in the draft or another quarterback in free agency. It's a celebration. I think I appreciated Penix and this team as well with all those NFL players because, just like Reflect, they're not going to have the same type of NIL money, the same type of support. So when you get a smaller school that can have an amazing couple of years like they did and, to beat Oregon, to get them to the point where Oregon is now, you have to be able to sometimes, lose before you win, crawl before you walk. And I know a lot of Oregon fans were just devastated losing by 3 twice, but that was more of a Dan Lanning, a coaching thing rather than Washington just outright beating us up and us getting our ass kicked. We could have won those games, but I'm kind of glad that we lost and they had that season that they had. Oregon was always going to have their moment, but to be able to share the spotlight with another Pacific Northwest team like Washington to get them on the map, for those couple of years was great for not only them, but for the Pac-12, as well as their legacy moving forward. And it was probably one of the most enjoyable Washington rosters that we've seen from top to bottom ever, besides the 91 split championship team. And then obviously if you're a little bit older, you can go back to some of the old school glory years. But obviously they're in 91 with the U and Washington with the split natty. And then obviously last year, wish you guys could have beat Michigan. That would have been an amazing fairy tale story. But still, to even get to the natty based on being a smaller school, that was something special in itself. Not very many people would have been able to beat Michigan. It's like if the Ducks would have made that, we would have lost to Michigan too. It's not like we would have been able to beat them either. We would have lost just like you guys did. So, yeah. Just got to stop running with two quarterbacks and get a better quarterback not named Will. The Wills are not very good. Rodgers or Howard. We need to get better quarterbacks for Ohio State and Washington. Nobody named Will. Megan in the building. What's good? I need to go grab a water here real quick. Michael Penix Jr. going to get his first start in the NFL this weekend. And then in 2 weeks, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, he will be on Sunday Night Football. And I can't wait for that, going against Jaden Daniels. Didn't think we were going to get that matchup this year, but we are excited. Even if that means that the Falcons start winning games, and even if they overtake Tampa and win the division, so be it. If he's good enough to be able to take the division away from Tampa, then, do it. Go for it, And again, I want them to be a better football team, and they're going to be more exciting with him, lined up at quarterback, and I wish him the most success. And then hopefully we can have a little bit more of a relevant NFC South. Panthers still got a long ways to go, but if he ends up being the starting quarterback moving forward, then you got Penix, you got Baker, right? We'll figure out what the Saints quarterback situation will be because they got to move on from Carr. I don't know how long Bryce Young will be there, on the Panthers, but I like this piece right here. Yeah, I got the game on right now as well. Senators and Kraken. All right, I need to go grab my water here real quick. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And I believe we're at, 10? And we got 90 to go. 28-17 halftime in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Go, Michael Penix Jr. Can't wait to see him. All right, let me go grab my water here real quick and check up on Paisley before we get into the second half. All right, I'm back. Paisley is on the couch, snug as a bug. She was watching Shameless with me earlier today. I'm binging that. And then tomorrow or later tonight, we got St. Dennis Medical, which is a funny comedy. Highly recommend. It's got the mom from the Goldbergs starring in it and a few other individuals that you'll recognize from some other sitcoms. And then what else is on today? I know there's another thing that's on today on Tuesdays. On Disney Plus, baby. Skeleton Crew. I got to watch those tonight. Yeah, Emmy. Fiona Gallagher. like I started binging it from season 1, episode 1, and now I'm already on season 2. Like very easy for me to start watching a show like that, and I think it kind of puts in perspective, not just people that live in Chicago, but not everyone lives a glorious life. And I think a lot of people can relate to like their struggles. It may not be as extreme, and a lot of us aren't going to be doing as many crimes and crazy shit that they do in that show, but it definitely shows you like, at the end of the day, even when things are bad, it's all about family and trying to stick together even when things are not good, and just trying to make the best of things. And, they get themselves into some crazy antics with Frank and the rest, but I think that they did a brilliant job with that cast, and there's a reason why that show ended up going for 10, 11 years. Normally a show like that would only go for 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 at the most. But anytime you can get a show to last 10 years or more, it's a very, very good show. 28-17, Memphis. Yeah, but Niner fans already had their time. They already had their 4 or 5 year window. They already had their NFC championships. They already had their Super Bowl, tries. And at the end of the day, they haven't won since 1994 because they don't have a quarterback as good as Montana or Steve Young. You're not going to win with a Colin Kaepernick or a Brock Purdy. You're not. You have to be able to get someone that is like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And if you ever get that, maybe you will. But again, it's like they always have these amazing athletes, but also Kyle Shanahan is not a good head coach in the fourth quarter up to this point in his career. He can coach first quarter, he can coach second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and regular season games that are meaningless. But when the games are on the line that matter, typically in the playoffs, NFC Championship game, or Super Bowl, he hasn't been able to figure out fourth quarter play calling to make it work. And he's lost, multiple times. Obviously with the 28-3, being on the Falcons with Tom Brady, and then all these games with the Niners. And even with that being said, all those fourth quarter, debacles, he's still one of the most intelligent coaches in the NFL. He is actually one of the best coaches in the NFL, but, they've had their time, so, if anything, that they should be mad in their organization of not getting someone better at quarterback. They've had their moment, And I know your guys' loss, hurt, but again, the season's not over. Minnesota, Rams at the end of the year, kind of a gimme in the middle that you should be able to win. But it's not over till it's over, and hopefully you guys will be able to bounce back. But again, when you don't have a good offensive line and you play a good team, you get exposed. You play a mediocre team or a shitty team, you can win that, even with a bad O-line. But when you play a good team and they know that your O-line is not good and they expose you, it's like the worst feeling on planet Earth. Like I felt for you guys as if I was a Seattle fan watching that game, and it didn't make me feel good. And hopefully that this new regime will address those problems, which I feel they will. $2 holla. And the sad thing is, the Seattle fans can banter, the Niner fans can banter, but then what happens if the Rams take over the division and then they just start winning? And then you guys are going to be in the same boat. You guys will be both pissed. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. And it's not like they got Aaron Donald anymore, but it also shows you that Sean McVay is special too as an evaluator and a coach. A very brilliant mind. Just kind of stinks that you guys have to battle with those like elite coaches in the division, but your guys' time is coming. Believe you me. $2 holla. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. I like Kevin. He might have been, illiterate and, a little bit of a dummy, but again, a good person that you would want on your side if you were living in that situation, being able to, have him as a friend, in the show. Definitely. Yeah. I think it's probably the most disturbing thing when you watch a football game. It's one thing if the quarterback can't complete a pass, and it's another thing if the defense can't stop a nosebleed. But there is nothing worse, than quarterback play, defense being terrible, offensive line being terrible is the worst. Because at that point, you can't do anything. You can't run. with your running back or your quarterback. You can't throw. You're getting sack lunch. You're making turnovers, and it just makes you look worse than you really are. Like overall as a team, like you have one position group that's bad, and then all of a sudden the whole team looks bad. Because it definitely is a trickle-down effect. So it shows you have a good O-line, a good D-line, defense, coaching, play calling. That's more important than quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Those, are pieces that you need. But if you have a better O-line, it doesn't matter who you have at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Those guys will get better based off the offensive line play. You'll get average players that turn to good players that turn into great, and then great turn into elite. So all your silver foxes. I like his aura and his swagger. He has a certain type of delivery when he talks, and when you see the intensity, and playing this DA role the way that he does, and obviously we know with Olivia Benson, she does a great job, and everyone else, Ice-T does a great job. Like everyone does a great job, on the show. But again, everyone has their favorites, and it's not just one on the show that makes it good. Because again, if you only had Olivia, as the only person that was good in the show wouldn't have lasted 20 plus years. And he has been amazing. And I always watch SVU. I don't miss a show. When it comes on and I hear the pump up, when I hear the little music and the little intro, I mean, it gets me ready to be able to, get into something good. One of my favorite shows of all time. It's like I look forward to every new episode that comes out. Exactly. And now some Niner fans are like, get rid of Purdy. Again, it's like even though the injuries are there, now they're trying to blame Shanahan and blame Purdy. So some fans understand that if you don't have a position group right or you have injuries, guess what? That does affect what happens in the win-loss column. And I really like the writing, in Law and Order SVU when they come up with the different cases and the different stories. Like, they don't half-ass anything. Like, they really make it exciting, for either a young adult or an adult. A fantastic show. Must-see TV, and it has been for 20 plus years. Yeah, do that, Lego. Oh yeah, Criminal Minds is great too. You can binge watch that show and have a lot of fun with that because it's got a great cast. Then you get like an attachment with each, character. Like you start to like certain ones more than others. And, obviously for me, when I watch shows like that, I always like the nerds, whether it's a girl nerd or a guy nerd, the one that, sees things a little bit differently. They can either be the computer nerd or they have that intelligence, and they are a key factor and a component on solving the crimes and whatnot. And, usually those will be the ones that I gravitate towards first if they're not there. And they're typically not the main character. They're like a side character in the show, but they're definitely one of the main ones that help solve those crimes. All right, we're in the second half now, 28-17 Memphis. Let's keep it going, baby. Chris in the building, what's good? No problem, I got you. Yep, exactly. No problem. Thank you. Do that, Lego. What's up, Chris? How are you? First down and 10. And the quarter have been balling in this game. Shotgun set, little play action fake. Going long, going deep, one-on-one. Wow! Taylor with the catch, and this is not stopping what we had in that first half Uncle Mo momentum. Rock Taylor! Who the chains? Wow, and we have an injury. West Virginia player, Don. Oh, no worries. I'll appreciate anything that I can get for my hard work, since this is my full-time job. And some days are going to be better with likes. Some days are going to be better with the donos and the dono trains. But, I'm going to consistently, try to give you guys the best thumbnails, the best photos, the best experience, and obviously the best play-by-play and vibes that you can get where you're not going to have haters or trolls dominate the room. A safe place to talk sports, wrestling, and life. Can't put a price on that. 0-0, Senators and Kraken. Let's go, Kraken. We got DeCord in net, so we have a chance to win. If Grew is in net, we're fucked this season. But if DeCord is in there, much higher probability of winning the game. But I do like Christmas bonuses. I work really hard, so $10 holla. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. One of the top supporters on the channel with Megan and a few others. Reflect, we appreciate you. Any other photos that you want besides Michael Penix Jr., you let me know. But I can't wait. Kirk Cousins just got benched today. So we're going to see Michael Penix Jr. as the quarterback, probably moving forward for the Atlanta Falcons. And 2 weeks from now on Sunday Night Football, we're going to get him against the Commandos, Jaden Daniels versus Michael Penix Jr. in 2024. Fuck yes. I can't fucking wait. Let's go. Yeah, I got you. There's a couple people in this room that could help with that too. Reflect is, very, very intelligent with the deep diving, with the stats and analytics. But if you give me your lineup here in the chat, let me know who you have, and I'll be able to give you an idea, of what I would do, based on what you got going on. And you know what's going to be cool? Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr., and Bo Nix are always going to be linked together. And then you got the Caleb, Drake May, and J.J. McCarthy. So it's like you got the quarterbacks that are going to be the underdogs that have to be able to prove that they can do it, even though Caleb was the number one pick, but he's not getting better. It's almost like Chicago is kind of a cancer. It's like if they don't have the right owner, the right GM, the right head coach, they need like a Harbaugh, kind of guy, like a quarterback whisperer like Jim Harbaugh that he's mentoring Herbert. That's what Caleb fucking needs. Otherwise it's going to take him longer to get good, or he might underwhelm and he might only end up being an average or below average quarterback down the road if he doesn't get the help that he needs, or he might have to go to another team other than Chicago, wait for his rookie deal to end, go to another team, and then Caleb will have success. Same thing could go for Drake May or J.J. McCarthy as well. We'll find out what he does on Minnesota. If they can continue to have success with Darnold, that'll still be another option that they have. But, there's three quarterbacks that I feel that are, kind of on the up and up, that were the more NFL ready. And then you got the other three that are in a little bit harder position to succeed, but not impossible. Nice catch. I can't wait for that. Yeah, well, we talked about it. Remember, I kind of like telling you, when we talked about it, I told you to look at previous, but it's like you always typically want to ride. But again, last year, right, I did the same thing. I rode with Evans and Baker and I lost. So again, you could have, went that route, and, I would have had to play Nick Mullins and Zamir White over Baker and Mike Evans, and that made me uncomfortable. But I knew the defensive matchups were better for those players, and if I would have done it, boom, you win. But sometimes it's hard to go against your gut or what your mind tells you. Sometimes you want to win your way. Sometimes you want to win based on what you do. And sometimes we guess right, and sometimes we fucking fuck up. And I fucked up, you fucked up. But again, we both have had, championship caliber seasons. We both have been very, very good. You were the number one team this year. I've been number one many, many times as well. And, just because you're number one in the regular season, unfortunately, it's luck in the playoffs, luck and matchups. And sometimes you choose right. Sometimes you choose wrong. Sometimes guys hit. Sometimes guys get injured and shit the bed. And sometimes you just simply fuck up. And I hate when that happens, when it happens to me or when it happens to someone like Reflect, because if you were going to lose, you deserve to lose to Zini, not in the first round. But like you said, sometimes it's a little bit of luck, and matchups, and it is what it is. I like seeing people be happy, but also when me and Reflect not only talked about Jalen like the night before, we talked about Double E. Right, and maybe we talked it into existence, but we talked about how he's had a rough year, and if he were to beat you as a huge underdog, knowing that Lamar could have a big game, he did, that maybe he would upset you, and we kind of talked about that, and then it happened, but I don't know, something lining up, with our decision making and whatnot, and for Double E to win against you and Zini, would be a bright spot, in his year that has been a very challenging year and whatnot, and we'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely proud of a lot of the people that, were in, the actual, into the chat and into the league this year. It hasn't been great for everyone, but, you got to learn a lot about not only the NFL this year, but, the people in the room and how they play. 28-17, Memphis. All right, what you got here? All right, Jaden Daniels, Kyler, Kupp, Higgins, Metcalf, Shakir, Keenan Allen. Chase Brown must start. Pollard, Spears, bench. Kelsey, Steelers. I would have to look at matchups between Daniels and Kyler. Kyler's not very trustworthy. I'd probably go Jaden Daniels no matter what, even if the matchup is a little bit tougher. Jaden Daniels has been hotter. Kupp just got a 0, and that fucked me, so... And then you'll have to look at matchups with your receivers. Shakir will get some looks, obviously, for sure points. With Kupp, Higgins, and Metcalf, it's hit or miss. But Shakir, you can start with confidence. With Allen, Metcalf, Higgins, and Kupp, you would think, oh, it's easy. I can start this guy. I can start that guy. But, I would feel comfortable with Shakir. And then, Kupp and Higgins. Metcalf, you'll have to look at the matchup as well as Allen. Chase Brown is a must start. Kelsey obviously must start if that's what you have. Pollard has been pretty fucking good. I had him in my league, and then you got Steeler D. So, I mean, if I was going to drop a receiver, it would be probably Keenan Allen out of all those receivers. Just giving you my input. Ford, obviously Nick Chubb had a broken foot. So Ford could be someone that could get you 10 points, but I wouldn't be expecting 20, or more. I would grab McMillan, if I would swap Keenan Allen for McMillan, because right now McMillan has been playing like Chris Godwin. He's getting more a chemistry with Baker. So you could always consider a McMillan, and he's got a good matchup this week. So I would definitely try to get McMillan from the Bucs. And defensive wire, I would have to look at the matchups on who those teams are playing to give you a correct answer. Touchdown, Memphis. He is a bowling ball, which we said at the beginning of the broadcast. But if you're going to grab two and you have the ability to, I would be grabbing Ford and McMillan there. And then out of the defense, you have to look at to see who they're playing. Can you imagine if he ends up doing it? Now, he would need another easy matchup to Lamar to do it. Because the chances of Zini's players shitting the bed is not very likely. And she doesn't have a lot of options on the bench to swap out to make the mistake. So that's why she's probably going to win by default. It's not like she has a super team like me, top to bottom, and she has like options to make the wrong move because she has so many good running backs and receivers. It's like you got Xavier Worthy and Devontae Smith, but you already got others that you can play, that are similar. But you never know what could happen. Ooh, Kyler at Carolina. So normally when you look at this, right, you say, well, Carolina, is not a good team. Kyler is going to eat. But you have to understand, sometimes when you play a team like Carolina, you don't score as many points as a quarterback than you think you would. You're like, oh, Carolina, Kyler, he'll get 20 to 30. But then he'll end up with like an 11. And you're like, what the fuck happened? Like, so, even though that, the Jaden Daniels, gosh, that's tough. Because we saw what happened when he played Philly at Philly. It wasn't pretty. But at home, I think I would probably trust Jaden Daniels more than Kyler, but I would have to go back and look to see how many points Carolina has given up to quarterbacks the last month, and then compare what kind of numbers Jaden Daniels has done in the last month. And, but for me, matchup is much tougher against the Eagles, and you're going to get interceptions and you're going to get sacked. But I think I trust Daniels more than Kyler, honestly. Kyler I don't trust, because it's like for every one good game he has, then you'll have like 2 average ones and then a bad one. So it's like he's a little inconsistent for my liking. He doesn't have the rapport with Marvin Harrison Jr. like we thought he would. They've been going heavy with like James Conner and whatnot. So can Kyler get 20 to 30 against Carolina? Yes, but I would assume there's more of an underwhelming factor that Kyler could end up getting like 10 to 15, And even if Daniels fucks up, I think that he could end up getting, even if he fucks up, he could get 15 or higher. I don't know how many points you're looking for at quarterback, but I don't know. Even though the Eagles are beast mode, I think I would trust Jaden Daniels more. Is that good? Top quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and had the top tight end, but they haven't really been able to go to Bowers because of the lack of quarterback, and top defense. She had, Minnesota was number 1 at one point this year, and Bowers was number 1. So kind of hard to beat a team that's had the best quarterback, best running back, best wide receiver, one of the best flexes that's on the up and up in Chase Brown, right? And then have the best tight end in Brock Bowers, even though other guys are getting the ball more now lately, like Laporta and Andrews, right? And then having one of the best defenses in Minnesota. She just did a brilliant job drafting and filling the gaps, even though she made less than 20 moves all season. Her players didn't get hurt. She had one injury, Pacheco. That was it. But when you got James Cook as your main guy, it doesn't matter. So. But, you can look at projections and go through that. And I would have to look to see who the receivers are matching up against too. But, dropping Keenan Allen and grabbing like a McMillan, that would be a easy place to upgrade. You could get rid of Spears and then grab Ford, for another running back. So, that's what I would do. And also, Jaden Daniels at home is going to be better than playing in Philly. Playing in Philly, you're going to have a horrible, horrible outing. Especially we know Philly is the best NFC team. Detroit was 16, 17 guys on defense on the injured reserve. I just have a hard time thinking that it was 17, 16 guys injured on defense and Montgomery that they're going to be able to make it to the Super Bowl and win. Maybe they overachieve and they make it to the Super Bowl, but I just don't see it. It's kind of seeming like it's going to be more of an Eagles-Chiefs, Eagles-Bills Super Bowl to me. So we'll see what happens. But the most entertaining Super Bowl will be Bills and who? The Eagles at this point, since, Detroit's getting too beat up. But, if Detroit makes it, I want them to win it all. I don't want them to go and just get their ass handed to them. But they can score points, just like Buffalo can. But both don't really have a defense. But at least Buffalo's isn't banged up as much. But we'll find out how it all plays out. 35-17 Memphis. I think they can beat everyone besides the Eagles. So that the only way that the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl is if the Eagles play like the Rams and get upset. And then if something like that happens, or they play Tampa and they get upset, right? And if that happens and the Eagles get eliminated, then the Lions can make it. But if the Eagles don't get eliminated, I don't see any scenario of them beating Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia has Vic Fangio. They have the better defense. They're the best They're the best, most well-rounded team in the NFL right now. The Bills have an offense, no defense. The Lions have an offense, no defense. The Chiefs have an offense and a defense, but Mahomes is so average and mid right now, and now he's got the high ankle sprain. It's like you can't really count on them blowing anybody out. They're just doing enough and not turning the football over to win barely, which could end up leading to a three-peat because they just don't turn the ball over. Pass incomplete for West Virginia, but we'll see. But if it ends up being the Eagles and Detroit, I just don't see any scenario in my head Detroit beating them after all these injuries. There's just too many. 16, 17. I mean, it's like literally all the starters and then even like half of the backups are injured for the rest of the year, and Montgomery. And I think the injuries aren't done. You might get a couple more in the next 3 weeks. I don't want them to get hurt. I think that they're a fun story. I love the Lions. It's just, they're getting beat up like to the point of like the Niners, but they still have enough strong pieces that they haven't folded yet. But this is the worst time to get hurt. You need to be the strongest in December. You don't want to keep getting beat up. I mean, that's not the recipe for a Super Bowl win. But you never know. Maybe the Lions do it. But if I had my choice, I would go Eagles, Bills, or Eagles, Chiefs. That way, But if the Lions are good enough to get there, I definitely would be fun to root for them. But I just don't think the Lions would be able to beat the Chiefs or the Bills if they get to the Super Bowl. They have too many injuries. They would lose. And so I guess if the Lions fans can get to the Super Bowl and lose, and the pain of losing, they would still be able to get back, you would assume, in the next, 3 to 4 years. But we'll find out. 9 minutes and counting in the third quarter, 2nd down and 5 for Garrett Green. Shotgun set. Green towards the sideline. Bobbled. Wow. Yeah, you will. You'll go through and you'll be able to see how many significant players are injured. And I guess if it was more like backups, then I would have more faith. And just the way that they run the offense, you can flip the script and the switch. Less Montgomery, more Gibbs, more Laporta, more Amon-Ra, but they've done a fantastic job to get to the record that they have up to this point, but at some point something's got to give. And, if you get a Buccaneer team that's flowing, or a Ram team that's getting hot, or a Minnesota team that's playing great defense with Van Ginkel, there could be an upset. Yeah, you'll have to look at the injury report with the names, because, again, there's so many that you'll have to look on there. So I will have to do a refresher to look to see, okay, is this guy out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or are they all out for the rest of the year? Because I think some of the injuries are season-ending, like they had 3, more than likely broken jaw, ACL, MCL, PCL tear, and then obviously with the MCL with Montgomery. So, touchdown, West Virginia. There we go. They're making this a game. Hudson Clement with his second tutty of the game. I don't want to give you any misinformation, so yeah, we'll have to look at that together or separately, and we'll update each other. I don't think Branch is out for the year, but you'll have to look to see what the status is for Joseph Campbell, or if any of those guys have any designated injuries and how serious, if any. Yeah. Well, it really doesn't matter, who's back there at quarterback if the offensive line plays like they did against Green Bay. You're not going to win any of the last 3 games, but if they can play better, then obviously that Minnesota game, the game in the middle, obviously will be, the most winnable. And then the last one against the Rams, that's a tough 3-game stretch. But obviously you have a better chance of winning with Geno than you do with Sam Howell. Sam Howell couldn't even throw the football. Like, at least Gino was able to throw the football before he got hurt. Like, Sam can't even throw it. Like, there's not enough time for him to process the information to get the reads going. He had a very bad QBR rating in that fill-in role. So 35-23 Memphis. And definitely you need Gino to be able to try to win those last 3 games for sure. Injured Lions on injured reserve. The Lions have 22 players. Holy fuck. 22 is the updated number. Holy cow. And out of the 22, I believe 16 of them are on defense. And it's like their defense was better than it was last year, but that's the last thing that they need. You know, it's like that's the piece that they need to get better so that way they can get to the Super Bowl and get past the NFC Championship game and win. That's rough. But it looks like Arnold is showing the growing IR no for him. And then Carlton Davis is a broken jaw to be determined. And then obviously McNeil is out with the torn ACL, as well as Montgomery is out with the MCL. That's what I'm reading here. So. Yeah, I think both teams are playing well. I mean, you got to think West Virginia, could have been at 35-25. They're 6-6. So, they're going against a team that's 10-2, that's ranked 25th in the nation. So, yeah, we already assumed West Virginia was going to lose, but they could have just rolled over and died, and they could have ended up being down 35-0 or 35-3 right now. So for them to actually fight back when they were down early big and to make this actually kind of competitive, shout out to them. Yeah, there's more information to read up on there, but this is just what I'm reading up on right now. Aiden Hutchinson, injured reserve. Khalil Dorsey, injured reserve. Carlton Davis III, injured reserve. Alim McNeil, injured reserve. Trevor Nowaski, questionable. Montgomery, out. And then obviously Wingo, injured reserve. Malcolm Rodriguez, injured reserve. Khalif Raymond, injured reserve. A good option number 3-4 receiver. Enos Rakestraw Jr., injured reserve. Melifonwu, injured reserve. Anzalone, injured reserve. Derek Barnes, injured reserve. Jalen Reeves-Maben, injured reserve. Palpecco, injured reserve. Marcus Davenport, injured reserve. So, yeah, it just keeps going on and on and on with the injured reserve. Injured reserve means your season is over. There's no possibility of coming back. But if you're like questionable or you have another designation, that means you're fucked up and you're injured, but you'll probably come back at some point. Whether that be next game, in a couple weeks, in a month, in the playoffs, but that means you have the ability to possibly come back. But when you're on injured reserve, that means that your shit is broken. You're fucked up. There's no possibility of coming back. So. There is not a limit on injured reserve how many you can have. If your players get hurt, it could climb up into the 30s, if you just have bad luck. So, but you got to think, if you play 11 on 11, 11 on offense, 11 on defense, and you have backups for every position, and then you end up having 22 on injured reserve, that is an incredibly high number. So, doubtful, Doubtful is going to mean that most likely won't play that week. Questionable, 50-50. But doubtful, that's probably like 90-95%. Yeah, he's probably not going to make it. His injuries is too much. He has to wait till next week or a couple weeks. Brandon, okay. First down. Memphis. Move the chains. We're at 22. 78 to go. Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl. Getting the bowl season started off on a good note. First down and 10. And we'll see what Hennigan can do here. Shotgun set. Handoff. No. Keeper by Hennigan. And diving for half of the first down yardage. About 4 or 5. Yeah. Anytime you see those designations in fantasy and whatnot, yeah. So you have the questionable, maybe plays, maybe not, 50-50. But most of the time when it's questionable, they do. But then the doubtful is like, uh-oh. Your chances of this guy playing is probably 10% or less. And most of the time when they have a doubtful, I would say that, maybe one player out of 10 might be able to make it. But it's the percentages aren't very good typically. Usually they're too injured to play. Unless they, want to play injured. But usually that's not the case. Handoff up the middle. Met by 5 Mountaineers. Third down incoming. Yeah, but do you really like the idea of trying to outscore opponents and winning the NFC, AFC championship game that way like Buffalo does? It just makes me nervous, when you have offense but you don't have defense. Detroit's is injured, Buffalo doesn't have one, and even though KC is like not impressive at all, sometimes having that balance is just enough to beat a powerhouse team like a Josh Allen Bills. But the difference this year is James Cook. So this might be the year that we get the Bills to represent the AFC. But again, if Detroit didn't have Philly in the NFC, I would say, yeah, they can still make it, because I don't think that they are intimidated by anyone, other than them. But adding Saquon, adding Vic Fangio, getting those rookies, Mitchell and, Dijon at corner, I don't know. Philly seems like they will rise to the occasion, and they are the most balanced team in the NFL to me, the Philadelphia Eagles. So, but if the Eagles get eliminated by the Rams or the Bucks or Minnesota, yeah, Detroit can make it, and if they make it to the Super Bowl, they'll have a chance, even with the defense being injured. I mean, especially if it ends up being Detroit and Buffalo, it could go either way, whoever has the ball last. But if it ends up being Detroit, Kansas City, it could be a different story. Could end up losing that. Defense wins games, defense wins championships. But if we end up getting a Lions-Bills Super Bowl, then it'll show that, yeah, defense doesn't win championships. You just got to outscore the opponent. But there would have to be at least a little bit in the Super Bowl. But if you end up getting Bills-Lions, it'll probably be very high scoring like we saw them just last weekend. No defense at all. And then the team that makes that one big interception late, that could be the difference in the game. Or you end up giving up 300-400 yards. It ends up being 45-42. And then that team that gets that tipped interception in the fourth quarter, maybe that's the team that wins the Super Bowl. Could be like that. Yeah. But the offense outside of Montgomery is intact. And they could go to more Laporta and Amon-Ra like last year. They could kind of, get back to that team that they were last year. Yeah. I don't like injuries. Yeah. I mean, right now, to me, the Eagles defense out of the elite teams is the best. Obviously, you have other teams that could make the playoffs that have equally amazing defenses, like TJ Watt and the Steelers. Amazing, right? Denver Broncos, right, by Nick Bonito and Patrick Surtain. Amazing. But again, we just don't know if those offenses are going to be able to put up enough points to make up for the defensive, gem performances that some of these defenses can give you. So. And it's been kind of a weird year, in the NFL and in fantasy. So. Yeah, unfortunately, lots of fan bases, not just the Packers, that would joy and jump up and down and cheer. Unfortunately, there is a lot of bad fans in every organization. That's just how it goes. Some fan bases are better than others overall, but every fan base is toxic to a certain degree. There's going to be some bad human beings that root for sports teams. Reflect with another tenor. If you could have your Super Bowl, like you decide who makes it, who would you want in the Super Bowl for your entertainment purposes? If obviously Seattle can't be one of the teams, like if you're looking at the current playoff structure, who would you want in the Super Bowl, and who would you want in the Natty? Who would be your two teams that you would want to see in those two matchups? I'm kind of curious. And if you're in the room, other than Reflect, give me your favorite matchup for the Natty, your favorite personal matchup in the Natty, and your personal favorite, like you would entertain you the most, even if you weren't a fan of the teams. Like, what would you guys want to see in the Super Bowl and the Natty this year? I'm curious. Show me. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack bang bang, because I guarantee all of us have pretty much different ideas of what we would want. Some of us would be similar, I think, in our Super Bowl pick and our Natty pick, but some would be different for sure. Appreciate you. Yeah. I think it's just about karma. But you also have to think on the flip side, there was probably a lot of Hawk fans that were rubbing it in on all the injuries that the Niners had this year. You're going to have that bad blood, back and forth. Sometimes shit gets petty, but when you get petty and you go extra and you keep poking the bear back and forth, eventually karma finds its way, at some point, 32 doll hairs, 68 to go. Little short game. Detroit Bills for entertainment value. That would be fun, right? That would put up the most points in the Super Bowl, but they don't have defenses on either team, though, which would be stinky for me because I like defense. But when you don't have any defense, someone's got to make a defensive play with both defenses not existing, right? And whoever makes that big play could end up being, either like MVP if it ends up being big enough, or a memorable moment. But if you end up having Detroit or the Bills, I don't know. Josh Allen is on a heater right now. If I feel like if you got Detroit and the Bills would win. So I guess Bills fans would be happy, and then Lions fans would be crushed. Oregon, Georgia, Lions, Bills. Those would be exciting. Yeah. And it's not like I don't like offense. Heck, I like great passes. I like great running backs, like Genty. And what we see in the NFL with Gibbs and Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles. I love wide receiver and tight end play. It's just that I have a little bit more appreciation, nice pump fake, for the people that don't get all the love. Everyone on planet Earth already roots for the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. But a lot of us, out there, not everyone, but some of us, have an appreciation more for like offensive line, centers, guards, tackles, defense, defensive line, coaching, play calling, the other aspects of the game, the coordinators, offense and defense. I feel like quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end are pushed down our throats too much, and it's like an overrated positions. Like anyone knows, if you don't got an O-line, you don't got a D-line, you don't got a defense, coaching, play calling, you're nothing, But again, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends make some of the most memorable plays that we remember, for sure. But if you don't got an O-line, then the plays don't actually get to exist and happen, because you have to have time for plays to, come together. Ooh, Oregon and Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got a shot. They're in my top 5 based off the bracket. It's like I feel like really the 3 teams that have the best chance to win it all: Georgia, Texas, Oregon, and then the 2 wild card teams, Ohio State and Notre Dame. But they got to win their matchups respectively and keep winning to be able to hit that bracket at the right time. But I feel like the bracket, the way that I think I saw it, it looks like it's going to be Texas, Oregon, if they keep advancing, to the Natty, and then it would be Penn State and like Notre Dame, so, we'll see how it all plays out, based off the brackets, but, Penn State and Notre Dame could get there, and I guess you could throw Ohio State in there too, but we'll find out. Interesting choice with the Oregon and Notre Dame. Odin would love that. Shotgun set. Garrett Green, baby. He's got some pretty good speed. Anytime you get a quarterback in a bowl game that can run for a 50-plus yard touchdown, he's got a little bit of wheels, and he's got good vision. And we got another West Virginia Mountaineer down. Call him Pat McAfee. Get the medical tent out there. Get him some assistance. Yeah. But if we're really being honest about things, a lot of Hawks and Niner fans are petty, right? I mean, it's just how it goes. You hate each other so much, shit gets petty sometimes. I know a lot of Bucks and Saints fans are that way. Cowboys and Eagles, Hawks and Niners, Michigan and Ohio State, Florida State, Washington State. I mean, there's going to be, these kind of heated, Oregon State, where it gets heated and, sometimes one team is better than the other and, rivalries, can get to that point. But I think you got to limit the pettiness if the petty does come out, even if you're provoked, I feel sometimes it's harder to be the bigger man and the bigger woman, on certain things. And you can jab back and forth. But I feel like sometimes when you jab back and forth with the pettiness, karma don't give no fucks. Like, it'll come back to bite both, Niner fans and Hawk fans, in some way or another, That's why I don't deal with the pettiness. And I don't, I'm not a part of a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, fan page or an Oregon Duck fan page because there's just too much toxicity, even out of Tampa and Oregon fans, that I'm not willing to put myself through that. And Tampa and Oregon don't have a reputation for being petty or mean, really, but every fan base, if you get too many fans collectively in a room, the dumb comes out. Floater, incomplete. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of patience for the dumb and the just over the top, pettiness and the jabbing and the unnecessary comments and, trying to pick fights and shit over dumb stuff. I don't know. Life is too short for me to deal with that shit anymore. But I did try at one point to be a part of some Ducks fan pages and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But, after just a little bit of interaction and monitoring on how conversations were going, I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. 3rd down and 2. My mental health is worth more. Uh-oh, he slipped, but they recover. Loss on the play. 4th down. Yeah. Fourth down and 5. Split 4 wide. And Clement has been his number one, already has 2 tutties, and he's got a nice little chemistry there with his receiver. I like him. They should have I don't think they should have went for that 2-point conversion. They should have went 35-24 and just, waited to the point where you needed to go for 2. Obviously, if they would have gotten it, they would have only been down by 10. I get that, instead of 11, but now it's 12. Just let the game come to you. Don't make those hard decisions before you need to, because when you're chasing points and you think you're going to get ahead, most of the time you don't, and it ends up backfiring. Shotgun set, floater, 1-on-1. Oh, one-handed grab, incomplete. Clement, is there a flag? I don't think there should be one. SMU has 0% chance. Hell, they're not even going to win their first game. So, that is probably the most Cinderella team in the entire bracket. but they have the least amount of chance out of any team to make it, unfortunately. Even Indiana has a better chance to go deeper, than SMU. But again, I don't think that they can beat Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is going to give them the business, just like Texas will give Clemson the business. Some teams are going to give other teams the business, but we will get some upsets, and I think that's what's going to make the playoff really exciting. But it still feels like only 3 teams can win it all. Georgia, Texas, Oregon, nobody else. That's it. And then wild card teams, Ohio State, maybe Notre Dame, to me. And then NFL, now it's down to 4 teams based off injuries now, right? Lions, Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, nobody else. Steelers can't do it. If TJ Watt isn't 100%, and if Russ, isn't continuously doing what he needs to do, and then Pickens is, kind of injured in and out of the lineup, I can't have them as a choice anymore. Somebody's got to be the 5th best team, but I'm not a believer in the Vikings and their schedule based off their record. And I think the Steelers I trust more than the Vikings, but I don't trust the Steelers, with the TJ Watt injury now more, than the Bills with no defense, or the Chiefs, even with Mahomes with a high ankle sprain. They got Carson Wentz, they'll play him if needed. And then, Mahomes will be, the Mahomes that we're getting in 2024. So, yeah, I would say out of all the underdog teams, Tennessee has got the biggest chance to win against another team. And also, if you look at the numbers in the rankings, it's the closest as well. It's like anytime you get like a 7 and an 8 or a 5 and a 6, 4 and a 5, it could go either way, like 7 and 8, either way, right? So, yeah, I would agree that Tennessee has the best chance to upset a team that is not as, Ohio State is better than them, but if Tennessee balls out, and gets a couple turnovers and gets lucky, they could upset Ohio State, just like Indiana could beat Notre Dame. But will it happen? We'll see. To me, Tennessee will keep it close for a little, but Ohio State will pull away. Same thing with Indiana, Notre Dame. Close in the beginning, and then they pull away. But you never know. College football, crazy stuff happens. It's must-see TV. Okay, no worries. I'm going to be here till the game ends. End of the third quarter, 35-23, Memphis. Scooter's Coffee, Frisco Bowl. Never had Scooter's Coffee. It's not in Oregon, but if it was, I would try it. I ended up, getting Starbucks for the first time in like 6 months, and it was delicious. And then, obviously, I even had to share with the fam, because again, if they've never had it before, I want to make sure, my family gets to experience certain things that maybe other people have had a lot of over the years, but, everyone's a little bit different, I miss Starbucks too. I mean, I'm more of an energy drink person, which I know is incredibly unhealthy. I know too much coffee is unhealthy too. Red Bull and Monsters are incredibly terrible for you. I know that, and I cut back on the Snapples and the soda for the sugar and whatnot, but I have to have at least something. But I do miss a really good coffee, and it's like they have so many different amazing ones. You can go cold, right? You can go hot. I'm more of a hot kind of guy. I like the hot in the kind of, miserable weather, the snow, the rain. Sometimes a good warm coffee can really give you that pep in your step to have a great day. But like, venti, they do the different sizes, right? I'll do like a venti, the biggest one, like caramel macchiato. That's like my go-to. I love that one, White chocolate mocha, probably number 2. Oh, floater! First down, West Virginia, Clement, baby. And if West Virginia comes back and wins this game, it's going to be because of Clement. Wow. Clement is in his bag. This announcer is listening to my show. Tiptoeing in the Jordans in the first half. Okay, I see you. Trips left. I mean, the people on YouTube call games better than people on TV, and that are better than people on podcasts. I mean, that should say something. When YouTube has got the most talented people over people that are on podcasts and TV and former athletes, that's when you know that the shift has changed. What a catch. Yeah. I mean, some people, don't want to support that type of business, kind of hurts for the mom and pop shops and also like who they're affiliated with. But whether it be Starbucks or one of the other high-end chains, sometimes a fancy coffee is really good, It also depends if you're lactose intolerant, because I feel like sometimes when you end up not having coffee or you do have coffee, sometimes it leads to a bathroom visit. Flag on the play. Holding. Hi, Paisley. Paisley snuck into the room. Yeah. Something local would be good too. Coffee in general. Now, do you drink your coffee black, Reflect, or do you get like the Coffee Mates? Do you get the flavors and do you splash a little flavor in it to make it like a flavored coffee? How do you drink your coffee? Some people like it just black, dark, and just regular, for that strong caffeine, taste and feel. Sometimes a little flavor is good for you too, though. Floater, back in the end zone, and complete. Flag on the play. Love you, Paisley. I love the Paisley. I tell her I love her like hundreds of times a day. I want her to know how much I love her. Davion Ross, the guilty party for Memphis. No, that you're not crazy whatsoever, man. You're anytime anybody on the channel is over 40, right? We have half of the fan base that's like, younger, 10 to 13 for some of the youngest. And then some of the regular youngins are 18 to 22. And then, we have some that are 24 to, into the mid, 30s. But then we have a large fan base that's 40 and up. And, if you're 40 and up, things, change, right? Your bones and your body, and it's a lot harder to lose weight. It's harder to keep your body in shape. And there's a lot of things that you have to do to keep your body healthier, and you have to maintain things. You can't ignore. You ignore stuff, bad things happen. Medical conditions and other things and whatnot. Sometimes it's not just genetics. Sometimes certain things can be prevented. Like with my family, they got diabetes in it, so it's like, people have passed away in my family from that. So it's like, anytime you end up getting to a place in your life where you get anxiety or depression, and it leads to being overweight because you give up on yourself and you give up on, life at that moment, and you just, get, to a point where you're making bad decisions, me, and then not caring about my body, me, and some of y'all, and, and then you just have to get to a point where you just look in the mirror with enough conviction and disgust where I'm not happy with this, but the only way that it's going to change is you have to be able to stay resilient even when you don't want to, and exercise and walk and change your diet. And if you're willing to hold yourself accountable, you will lose weight, you will feel better, and you'll never go back to that person that you were. But you have to make the first steps and stick with it. You can't just do it for a little bit, talk about it, join a gym. You gotta walk the walk, talk the talk, and we'll support each other here, if things get tough, and then it'll get to a point where it becomes second nature and you can't imagine your life without doing it. Like, I'm addicted to exercising, and just not like working out or lifting weights, but just walking and making memories with Paisley, knowing that, she needs to pee and poo. She needs to sniff bushes and flowers. She needs to get some exercise on her legs and her body, and I need that fresh air, and I need to get out there too, so it's like we both saved each other's lives, her life at my ex's would have not been good, and me without her would not be good. So sometimes you got to count your blessings, understand that, life can get better, make a little bit of a change, And again, you can lose weight, change your diet, and it doesn't mean life sucks after that. I mean, do you think that I don't want to eat fucking tacos and fucking burgers and pizza and fucking pasta and pad thai and fucking lobster and, fuck, man. Like, I love food, I love it. I'm a foodie. I'm obsessed with food programs like, Man versus Food and anything Gordon Ramsay. I love it, but again, if it gets to a point where, you're, 80 to 100 pounds overweight, you got to make a change. And, even if you only drop 5 pounds, it's a huge success. 10 pounds, it's awesome. You don't have to be 50 pounds and up, and those are the only people that are success stories. No, like sometimes all you need is just to change a few habits. You lose, 4 to 20 pounds, somewhere in that number, and that could be just as significant as losing 50 to 100 like I did. Depends on where you're at. The young pups, 35, 23. He said, Santa got some work to do. Yankees acquire injured outfielder Cody Bellinger. This is going to make up for Juan Soto. Forget about it. Now, if he can stay healthy, that'll be great, but he was healthy at the early part of his career. Because the thing is if the Dodgers thought that he wasn't injury prone, don't you think that he would still be a Dodger? Oh, almost. They're getting close now, making this a game. If I ended up visiting Nolans and eating like Cajun and, the best of what they have to offer, I don't know if I would be able to leave. Like, some people don't like seafood. I'm all about it. Like, I'm all about all kinds of foods. But, like, there's not really a food that I'm like, no, that's gross. I won't do it. Indian food, gimme. Right? Seafood, gimme. There's not really anything that I'm like, no, that's nasty. I won't do that. Like, I'm willing to go to Flavor Town and try, because you just never know. If you don't try, something might end up being one of your favorite things. Like, a lot of people I know have never had pad thai. If you like ramen and noodles, it's like, that on crack. It's like a billion times better. The broth is insane. The ingredients are good. Sometimes some vegetables and some protein. Huh, Paisley? Oh, man. That chicken pad thai. I remember the first time that I had it, and it was like literally, it was like a holiday for me. Like, it's like also if you've ever had like pho, and if you've ever had it in a certain location, I think the people in the West Coast do it on the high level. We have a lot of diversity out here. One of the more original locations for the food trucks before that expanded across the United States. And we still got amazing places, all over, not just in downtown Portland. They've expanded into the burbs as well, and in Washington too. California does it really big, but man, chicken pad thai. Oh, and then like leftovers of that to me are just as good as like better than pizza leftovers, even though pizza hits cold or hot. But I feel like the only leftovers that pad thai compares to me, is spaghetti, hot or cold. That's elite top tier shit. And then pizza after that. Touchdown, West Virginia Mountaineers. Pat McAfee is happy. Pat White is happy. Steve Slayton is happy. And Rich Rod is happy. Woo! We got a game now. He said, give me some of that jambalaya. I've never had authentic jambalaya. I would lose my mind. I like crispy shrimp. There's a lot of things that, there'll be obviously some textures that I'm not really a fan of as much. Like when you end up getting like the scallops and you get some of that like chewy, slimy texture, I don't really like that as much. I like more, crab, lobster, crispy shrimp, stuff like that, or grilled, and there's many shrimp, but I feel like with certain types of foods, like, I guess it's if you grew up with it or if you like certain textures of like mussels and the scallops. And I mean, and it's not like I'm opposed to those foods. It's just that I'm going to eat probably a little bit less of those if I can, if there's another alternative for me. So, but the gumbo though, oh, I'll lose my mind. 35-29 Memphis. But I mean, instead of going to the games, you know, I would like to be able to be rich, right? And I would love to be able to go eat, you know, just go wherever I want to go. Midwest, you know, barbecue, ribs, anything that I got going on there. The South, the Cajun food and the gumbo and, you know, the Nolans style, Mardi Gras. And then up into the East Coast, so that way I can taste the fresh seafood, you know, off like New Hampshire and Maine. Go over to my girl over there in Connecticut with Britt. You know, I want to be able to experience, you know, every part of the country and what they're good at. Because if not, you know, you'd be like these guys right here. They'd be laughing at you. But one day, Dumb and Dumber, Lloyd Christmas, I will travel one day. Joe Dirt approved. Laughs a Garden, dig it. And I love this movie too, just based on his personality, you know, in the movie. Some people are grateful for even the little things. And if you're not, and then, you know, it teaches you, you know. That's why I like watching Shameless at this time of year. 35-30 Memphis. There's a lot of insanity in that show, but there's a lot of experiences in that show I think that a lot of us can relate to. Maybe a lot of us haven't done the craziness as Frank Gallagher, but maybe some of the other people in the show, you've done something that maybe they did or got yourself into a situation like they did in the show. And gosh, it's just, I can just watch it, boom, hour after hour. Like when I like a show, you know, even though it's intimidating starting a show that has 11 seasons, you know, but it's like once I like a show and I get into it, it's like binging it for me is super easy. Like second nature. It's like I almost can picture myself on the show and I have a connection with the characters and then I'm hooked. I'm hooked. The BBQ. And like if I was able to do like barbecue, I would have to go everywhere. You know, I would want to like check out everyone's top of the line. Like if this location says they have the best, right? Because Kansas City says they have the best. Texas, they say they have the best. Like there's a couple of different locations that, you know, they have a reputation of the way that they cook. And they glaze and they do their barbecue thing. Brisket. Yeah, I don't know. Some places would be dangerous for me because I would be so in love with all these places that I wouldn't be able to just like do a normal size portion. Like when I like something, you know, it's like I'm trying to, you know, get enough for like 2.5 people. Like it's not enough for me in just one portion. I need to make sure I have leftovers, you know, and then my leftovers have leftovers. You know, I don't like, you know, walking away from a good thing. Like some chicken pad thai. That's I think that's the thing I've been craving the most. I haven't had it in a year, maybe 10 months, 11 months, a year. I'm overdue. I am overdue. And I have to watch a show when I eat it. I have to make it an event. You know, it can't just be I'm eating it. No, I got to eat it and watch something special. Floater down the sideline. He's open. Rumbling and a bumping. 40, 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Oh! Diving! And he just short of the end zone. 89-yard hookup. This game is getting cray-cray. It was Memphis up to a big lead early on, and then it's like, West Virginia's going to get their ass kicked. They're down 17-0. And then here you go. West Virginia's coming back, but they have no defense. And Memphis is like, well, we'll let you come back in the game, but we're still explosive where we can score on 1 or 2 plays. And that would have been really badass if he would have been able to get in the end zone. But he got tripped up, But they should be scoring here on the next 2 plays. Yeah. Frank too, you know, and a lot of people, if you're judgmental, you're just, Frank's a piece of shit. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of piece of shit moments, you know, but there's also moments I've seen like the good side in him. You know, obviously always scheming, always conniving, always trying to get an up and up, trying to get someone's pension, trying to get money, you know, any way that you can get the come up, whether it's legitimate or illegitimate, right? You know, doing a lot of evasion and fraud and whatnot. But, you know, at some point, you know, when you're a piece of shit and you continue to be a piece of shit, eventually you have to stop being a piece of shit and change. And then sometimes good things start happening to you, you know, and then you can learn from some of your mistakes. A lot of crazy situations in that show. I mean, even if you just watch a show for one season of like 18 to 20 episodes, you feel like you've watched a lifetime of their life. Facts. Can't wait to keep going. Flag on the play. Yeah. Love the show, man. It's an addictive show because it shows like real life Chicago, and every character is believable. There's no one in the show that's like, this guy's fake. Like this guy, you know, is not a good actor or actress. Every single person is like 10 out of 10 in what they do in the show. They are magnificent. Like I wouldn't have done it any other way. And again, you can tell that it's uber successful and everyone is great because they made it 11 seasons. A show like that would only last 4 or 5 if it was like okay, and then if it's good, maybe 6 or 7. No way in hell a show like that on like an HBO or a Showtime lasts 10 years plus. No fucking way. Especially when some of those people wanted to do different things, you know, different movies, different TV shows, commercials, whatever they can get money on. Like the most raw, real shit, you know, in a show where it's like, even like the shit that's crazy, you know, it's not like unbelievable for a family that has to gonna, you know, be in the, you know, poor side of town and they have to really grind and, you know, cheat their way just to be able to eat, you know. We've all been at a point in our lives where things were tough. Very relatable. Some people relate to it more than others. Oh, what a shoestring. Got him right on the clip of that back ankle. That would have been a badass touchdown if he would have got it. I love character development, you know, and I love shows that are written well. You know, again, for me, I don't watch sports typically outside of the channel and the time that I set aside. I like being able to be very well-rounded with, you know, different types of controversial shows and comedies and, you know, a little bit of everything. Like in keeping up to seeing what's going on in the United States and globally. I like keeping up with a lot of different types of things. Got to have my Alaska programs. I got to have my Life Below Zero. Got to have my Discovery in History. Nat Geo is a must. 4230 Memphis. Let's see if West Virginia can respond here. Wow. And now, you know, if they were able to continue the show like into COVID and after COVID, and the show was continuing to run, it would be so fucking popular. It would be like the anticipation of Stranger Things where people they couldn't get enough of it. You know, it would be to see how they would navigate, you know, in the show, you know, COVID, post-COVID, and, you know, job opportunities and other crazy things, the election, you know, and how people are reacting to it in the show. Like, yeah, it would have been crazy. The show is relatable in any era. Just the gritty, grimy way of life where, you know, be thankful for what you have, because there's definitely people out there that are, you know, struggling. But one thing that you do learn from the show, that even though they're struggling, they would rather struggle, right, and be together as a family than one of them going off and, you know, being rich but not being with the others. You know, that strengthen the family bond, that they would rather, you know, grind it out together than, you know, anybody leaving. Why the family and the friendships are important in life. You know, you don't want it. Gallagher. And as soon as we talk about it, who gets a catch in the game? Gallagher. What the hell? Sports gods, I hear you. Hasn't been mentioned since the first part of the game, and then all of a sudden we're talking about the show, and then a Gallagher gets the football. All right, sports gods, I see you. They just have a weird way of letting you know that, hey, I'm here. I'm hearing you. I got some more predictions to relay to your audience. 2nd down and 13. Shotgun set. Green. Yeah, it's coming into like a Lions-Bills kind of game. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. For a game to start off 17-0, this one could have been ugly. And we're actually getting a pretty good first bowl game of 2024, between teams that most people have no care about. And Gallagher gets the ball again. What the hell is going on here? Our love for Frank Gallagher and the Gallagher family is transitioning into the football field. And think about this. How many Gallaghers are there in college football? Like fucking zero. There's like none. There's like barely any. Like there definitely isn't a Gallagher on every football team in college football. I'll tell you that. All right, sports gods, I hear you. Like we're making sure. Now, if you really want to let me know that you're paying attention, then a Fiona needs to catch the football or something crazy like that. Like another name, like a Lip, like all of a sudden a Lip gets the ball. Jeffrey Lip with the reception. Oh, okay. I hear you. Talk soon. Oh, Breaking Bad is so good. Seriously. That's what makes me so nervous, about the future, regardless if we have a Republican or a Democrat or whatever that they want to claim themselves to be, how our future going forward, some people are going to, get benefited and others are going to be losing a lot of their life. Going deep, touchdown! Oh! Hudson Clement, what happened to my hands? Oh my God. The guy's already got 1 billion touchdowns in the game, and that could have been another one. The DB falls down, and he got scared after the DB fell down. He said, this is too easy. This is too easy. And he dropped it. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. 2nd down and 10. But that doesn't mean that he can't come back and recover. Nice one-handed grab by the tight end right there. But when you get certain receivers that are balling out, that won't be the last time. Hudson Clement. 1st down and 10. Now 3rd down and 8. I see the transition. 42-30. Memphis up by 12. Less than 8 minutes to go. 7:30 and counting. 3rd down and 8. Shotgun set from Green. I didn't really expect a whole lot from Green based off his numbers in the regular season, but he has wowed me today. Big hit and a completion, but it's definitely been a quarterback wide receiver combo game on both sides. Gallagher with the catch again. Wow. The Gallaghers need to be mentioned. I don't know what kind of divine intervention this is, but I like it. First down and 10. Shotgun set for Green. Handoff up the middle. Lined up with 3 Memphis Tigers. I love college bowl season. College football is more exciting than the NFL this year. And I think it will be moving forward. But NFL will always be like popular. But I feel like there's going to be more eyeballs on college football with the college football playoff. Moving forward, it's they're going to do it right. And it's going to be really fun to see how things develop, not only this year, but the future. Go Ducks. 2nd down and 6. Green. Donaldson with the grab. They're about to score here within another play or two. Pat McAfee says, get in the end zone, baby. Neil Breezy. 3rd down and 1. Yeah, it's crazy. Like when certain guys were getting busted for getting like Hummers, H2s like Maurice Claret and Reggie Bush and his family. But you got to think like every school was cheating. Every school that is a top tier school and even middle tier schools and bottom have boosters and have people that can help athletes, with something, money, cars, some type of help, clothes, whatever. There's gonna be people that are gonna find a way to get the goods to the person. It all depends if the athlete accepts it or not. 2nd and goal. Reflect with a 3. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Practice check. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. Let me know what you want to do for the photos. Then I'll go for a long walk with Paisley in the dark, probably rain, just me and Paisley. It'll be amazing. And then eat a dinner. And then tomorrow we'll be doing California versus UNLV. Handoff, up the middle, popped, in the helmet, popped again, diving for the touchdown and got it. Great effort by West Virginia. All right, Paisley wants out of the room. Extra point is up and good. 42-36, 42-37 with 4:17 left. They're down by 5. If West Virginia gets that big turnover, I mean, they were down 17-0 and they've scored 37. Not many teams could do that. All right, let's put up some photos. Let's do some photos. Someone that we can both get excited about. Michael Penix Jr. Plus, that's got to be cool, being a Husky fan and having a Duck, streamer still show the same love as if I were putting up my own team and my own favorite players. It's cool to recognize greatness, and I think that's what this channel will teach. Don't be biased. Appreciate greatness, even if it's on the rival team. Appreciate how great it is. And admire to, be like that. And that's what the Ducks did. Yeah, he's good. Swag. Michael Penix Jr. Exciting, man. He finally gets to start. And then we get that Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr. Sunday Night Football 2 weeks away. Woo! That's going to be sweet. 42-37, Memphis. I mean, that first 50-yard bomb touchdown with the perfect spiral, it's going to be like, ooh, we got ourselves a Tua clone. And that's what they'll say at first, but then they'll be like, oh, this guy's better than Tua. Just give it some time. Still going to be some transitional, time, and there's going to be some fuck ups, some pick sixes probably, and some bad interceptions, some bad sack lunches, some bad fumbles, some bad fucking reads. But there are going to be those moments where he scrambles for a touchdown, or he ends up throwing for a 50 to 60-yard bomb right on the breadbasket, right in the hands, full stride, and you're going to be like, damn, that looked like Steve Young. And I can't wait for that moment. That is going to be badass. Give me that. Michael Penix goes back, slings it 50 yards. Instead of Roma Dunze, Jalen McMillan, he's going to be slinging it to Darnell Mooney. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan. I mean, look at that. Look at that form against that defense. Money, money, money. Money. Can't wait. And you know, like a lot of people would be mad, like to have that in the conference. Like I am super excited. Like Tampa's my team, but then I get to watch that twice a year and like just appreciate that in my own conference. Oh, I won the lottery, baby. It is amazing. I wouldn't want Michael Penix Jr. to be in any other conference. I mean, but I would want him to be in the NFC because we already got Tua in the AFC. So, you know, we want to make sure that we keep that, you know, NFC vibe. Oh, good return. 42-37 Memphis. How are you doing on your other fantasy leagues and your other bets that you got going on? Do you have a chance to be able to be pretty successful on some of your other bets for you and your son? Tell me that between the two of you, you guys got at least some kind of championship or some kind of positive money coming in betting wise based on your, you know, tactical knowledge and sports betting to be able to find a way to be a champion in some regard. Shotgun set. Like when you have the intelligence, it's like almost like you're doing yourself a disservice by not, you know, taking some chances to be able to get some money for the family. I should have already been doing that. I don't have a gambling addiction, you know, or anything like that. I would obviously be calculated, but I don't know. I'm kind of superstitious though. Like, do the sports gods want me to profit though off the knowledge? And if I do bet, will the opposite thing happen? You know, sounds crazy and all, but it would be cool to be able to win, like I said, on National Tight Ends Day. And not just me win, but like us win as a channel. That would be exciting, winning a couple grand off something that I know that we could win. Let's go. First down. Memphis. Who do you, like, you know, between you and your son, you know, do you think your son has a little bit of the edge in like the knowledge and the research, or do you think you are the one that has got most of it, and then son has got it also, but maybe not as much as you, as being like the elder statesman and being the OG? Sounds like both of you guys got like the spidey sense. You guys both are got the you know, you guys are the critical thinkers, and it sounds like both of you bring a lot to the table. I've never met him, but I can just tell based on how you talk about him that, you know. Second down, 42-37. Memphis, 25th ranked at a 10-2 record. West Virginia, 6-6 Mountaineers. They were down 17-0. Hello, 42-37. I would have never predicted that. But let alone, hell, I can't predict anything apparently this year. You know, some things, but it's not in fantasy. All right, 2-minute warning. Oh. It's the part of the country that you're in with the global warming and all of the different changes in our world, you know, with the colder places, you know, getting warmer and warmer, things are melting, you know, things are getting to a point where, you know, everything is changing, like the heat, a whole ecology of things are like shifting over, you know, one pattern will go to another and things will go further than expected. And, you know, fish are dying, coral reefs are getting destroyed, temperatures are getting too hot underwater, weather systems are getting crazier, places that don't get a lot of snow are getting more snow, extreme weather. (42-37) crazy shit happens in our world. It's just that you either read up on it and you watch programs on it, or, you know, or you hear about it from someone that does. Yeah, everyone can have an expertise at something. Some people are better at watching film. Some people are better, or following up with the certain programs or individual player knowledge and player stats. But also too, being able to think outside the box and not being like everyone else, or being able to see things before everyone else does, based on watching, players develop at high school and college, and being able to predict the future because you have more knowledge on that end. And also using your intuition and experience and also knowledge of the game when you've seen it before. In sports, it happens all the time. History repeats itself in all sports. It's just that, can you decipher the different names and the different teams when that certain type of situation happens? And if you can remember from it happening in the past, it sometimes will happen again. And I think that's why I'm so good at what I do, is because I'm watching and reading more than 99% of the world. And when you watch and read as much as I do and a lot of you do in the room, right? It's like you can find different details that maybe other people miss. And if you pay attention, right, then you can win money and become smart and predict the future. Or the sports gods tell you something, you say it out loud on the channel, and then it happens. That happens too. (42-37), Memphis. West Virginia down 17-0, 37, almost all unanswered. Second down and 10. And West Virginia needs a pick six. Could you imagine if they get a pick six and win the game? What a way to start off the college football 2024 season. Anderson, though, he's getting loose. And he's like a little bowling ball, like a Maurice Jones-Drew. If you don't get him at the line of scrimmage, that happens. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get a stop. They're going to need a miracle here. Because, again, the quarterback is good, the running back is good, and they have at least one or two receivers that are more than capable of making a play. But this bowling ball that they have right here, this Maurice Jones-Drew, if you don't get him at the legs, upper body ain't going to cut it. Nice try, though. Hand off. They need a fumble, a punch out, strip sack, 2-yard loss. How many timeouts are left? Oh, they just took one. $141 left. I mean, this game already has been better than I thought it was going to end up. And, shout out to West Virginia for being a fucking 6-16. Getting down 17-0, could have just said fuck it and fought hard and made some awesome plays. Hell, their quarterback ended up running for more than a 50-yard rushing touchdown. That shows a lot of heart to me. But we'll see if they can actually come up with the miracle, or if it's just a little too late. It's no longer the jet stream. It's the jet scream. Jet moto. Star scream. Weather's crazy. What's the thing that you like the most, Reflect, outside of sports? Like, if you're watching a program or you go out of your way to watch something, like what is your number one thing that you go to? Like, after sports, like if you're gonna try to watch a favorite show, you got a particular network that you like History Channel or Discovery, like I do. I think everyone does. Everyone's got kind of a go-to, particular type of program that you like to be able. I like to learn, and I like to see how people live. I like to be able to learn something new. I like to be able to educate myself on a number of different subjects. Not that I'm going to be on Jeopardy one day, but I just, I like to be able to learn how people live, and people overcoming adversity, and dreams and goals, and just different ways of life. Minute 39, 42-37, Memphis. And this is going to be both quarterbacks' last game in college. So quarterback class is not very good this year. So you may see one of these quarterbacks get drafted in the NFL as a backup. Shotgun set. 3rd down and 5. Play clock running down. Box loaded. Handoff. Right up the gut. Good form tackle. And holds them from getting the first down. 4th down. Do they have any timeouts left? It doesn't look like they do. Uh-oh. So you're going to have, 40 seconds, 50 seconds to try to get a touchdown to win? Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Fourth down and 3. Tristan Vandenberg. You're like me, even though you're older, you have an appreciation of the past and keeping things, still alive and passing information and knowledge, and it's just cool to be able to see certain type of relics. I feel like if you're a collector, right, of anything, anything that anyone else collects is cool. It's not like anyone as a collector hates on another collector. It's not like that with different sports teams. If anything, it's kind of cool when you find different people collecting different things. Some people do antique furniture. Some people do sports cards. Some people do shoes. Some people do action figures. It's pretty cool, man. Field goal attempt on 4th down and 3. Kick is up. And no good. Oh, my. West Virginia with 51 seconds. They get a touchdown. The game's over. Wow. And if they win, they were down 17-0. Wow. Maybe a Gallagher will make a catch because we were talking about Shameless. Wow. Yeah, you like the same stuff I do. What's the coolest relic or find in the show that you've watched recently that you would damn, I wish I could have owned that, or something that was found that was cool? Nice catch. Almost every episode on American Pickers, you're gonna see something that's it all depends if you like gas and oil and signage, and it's that doesn't have to be one of the number one things, but I feel it doesn't matter if you're an OG and you're older, or even if you're my age or younger. I think old school gas and oil and signage is extremely not only cool, but extremely valuable too. Keeping that history alive. Up Paisley. Paisley's I miss Dad. Another catch. Paisley's giving me the look. She said, Dad, I need some food and we need to go for a walk. I'm almost done, honey. 41 seconds, my baby. And we're going to go on a walk. You're going to get hugs and snugs. We'll watch Shameless. But we got to eat dinner. Go for a walk. 2nd down and 5. Shotgun set. Love me some Frank. Green. Frank Fritz forever. Sliding in. I'm almost done, Paisley. I'm almost done, okay? Yes. Floater intercepted, and that's the game. Paisley was giving me the wine. Oh my. Oh, fumble comes out. Ball comes out. Oh, and West Virginia recovers. Interception and then a fumble recovery by West Virginia. Are you shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me? And now they're going to have one chance of like Hail Mary to win it? Are you shitting me? Oh my God. Yeah, I love old cartoons. I'm always watching them every day. Okay, they're going to review this. I have to get Paisley food, otherwise she's going to lose it. All right, give me a sec. I'll be right back before this game ends. All right, I'm back. All right, so we had an interception. The game should have been over. They decided not to take the knee, and then the ball comes out, and West Virginia recovers. Wow, what a fucking ending. Oh, Memphis. Oh, Memphis won. Wow. Call reversed. Wow. What a ending to a game. Like, we almost ended up getting the miracle comeback, but they made it fun and interesting when it could have been really like depressingly sad. Like, at least it made it fun to watch from beginning to end. And I learned a couple new players that I didn't really know of. So that's always good when you can, be a hardcore fan, but know that you don't know everything. And it's always nice to be able to find a new player to root for, or at least someone that you enjoy watching. And they're about to kneel it here. Fun game. Love me some college football. All right, tomorrow, California. Let's see what they look like after leaving the Pac-12. California. Pac-12, Pac-10, Pac-8, Pac-2. California. We'll see what California looks like. And then UNLV. So we'll be live same time tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific. Shout out to every single one of y'all. Good news with the Michael Penix Jr. That's the best news that I've heard maybe all football season. We've been waiting on that. Now we're going to get it. Let's go. Overly sized NFL logo. I don't know why, but it's there. Oh, iced coffee all over him. But this is exciting. But shout out to Reflect, STL, Sarah, everyone. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Anything else that you want to see Reflect before we go? We're just going to go down the photos one last time. I think that'll be good, right? So that way we can see a little bit of greatness, and we'll get to see it on the NFL level. And I'll be rooting like hell for him, just like I'll root the hell for Bo Nix too. Want them to have a lot of success to represent the Pacific Northwest. That means something to us out here. Swag. Just like Bo Nix. All those people thought that Bo Nix wasn't going to pan out. Silly. They didn't think Jaden Daniels was be good. Silly. Sometimes if you watch enough, you understand what, if the situation is right, the talent is there. Swag. Yeah, for third place. That means something still, in a competitive league. You obviously want to get, top 3 every year. At least that's what I usually would always, kind of grind it out for. Well, that was a fucking fun game. Final score, number 25, Memphis, 42, West Virginia, 37. 17-0 lead for Memphis, and a huge comeback for West Virginia. A little too late. Hennigan, 18 for 26, 294 yards and 2 tutties, player of the game. And I put them both on the thumb. They both played great, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys very, very much. And we'll be live tomorrow for California and UNLV. And I appreciate every single one of y'all. And I have one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. The boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm out. Bye.